Baseball's next at 6.
ESPN, since 1990, your home to America's pastime.
They call it the Fall Classic. Last October, it more than lived up to its name. The Diamondbacks and Yankees battled in one of the most thrilling World Series ever. Dominant pitching and late-inning heroics carried the headlines. It ended in dramatic fashion with Luis Gonzalez living out every hitter's dream, a game-winning hit in the bottom of the ninth of Game 7. Tonight, Arizona and New York meet for the first time since their epic encounter and for the first time ever in the regular season. Next on Monday Night Baseball. Tonight from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, ESPN's Monday Night Baseball presents the world champion Arizona Diamondbacks against the team they took the ring away from last fall, the New York Yankees. Hi, everybody. Dave O'Brien and my partner, Rick Sutcliffe. Thanks so much for joining us. And to say we're a bit pumped about this, and have been since we saw this game on the schedule months ago, well, that's an understatement. And some 55,000 Yankee fans crammed into Yankee Stadium tonight feel the same way. And, Rick, a real treat in Game 1. Randy Johnson, co-MVP of the World Series, gets the nod in the first one.
One of the most intimidating pitchers in the history of baseball on one of the best streaks of his career. He's won 21 of his last 23 decisions, and we all know that 3 of those victories came in the World Series against these New York Yankees.
Well, in that World Series, he didn't have to face Jason Giambi, but he does tonight, and Giambi, the new Yankee, is locked in.
Well, is it Giambi or Giambino? Because it seems like he's the guy that brought the Bronx Bombers back here to New York. He was the American League Player of the Month during the month of May. He's having a terrific month of June as well.
Well, in the end, they might say it's the house that Jason rebuilt. It's certainly been Derek Jeter's home for a long, long time, right through all those World Series appearances. Luis Gonzalez has brought Arizona in for a meeting with Jason Giambi. Of course, it's a rematch of one of the great World Series ever played, the Yankees and Diamondbacks, coming up on Monday Night Baseball.
ESPN's Monday Night Baseball is brought to you by Harris Direct. Harris Direct is direct investing. And by Olympus. Inside every Olympus Comedia camera are the most realistic digital images yet. Olympus, nothing's impossible.
What a gorgeous June night in New York City. And from the Bronx, that is Yankee Stadium, Arizona. The defending world champs taking on the New York Yankees. And what we expect to be a sold-out Yankee Stadium. Arizona just swept Boston at Fenway Park as part of their historical ballpark tour on Sunday. And here's the starting lineup for Arizona. Junior Spivey is in there in the #2 spot, and he has hit in 8 consecutive games. He leads Arizona, Rick, in hitting, doubles, and runs scored. He's a superstar, a young rising star anyway.
Yeah, but a lot of people are asking us, who is Junior Spivey? Well, I'll tell you right now, he's the Arizona Diamondbacks' new superstar. Yesterday, he hit his 18th double. He also hit his 8th home run, which was an inside the park, and that's to go along with 6 triples. This guy has carried this offense early in the year.
And he'll be facing the left-hander Sterling Hitchcock. This is just his 2nd start of the season. He's also made 5 bullpen appearances. It has to be noted that he has never defeated Arizona, and he is a dreadful 0-8 lifetime against the Diamondbacks.
You know, deep down, Hitch had to think Joe Torre was mad at him. I mean, haven't been in the rotation. I got to face a team that I have lost to more than anybody else has lost to the Diamondbacks in their history, and I'm facing the big unit.
Now defensively, the New York Yankees back up Hitchcock with this lineup. Spencer Williams and Timms, the youngster, making his major league debut in right field. At shortstop, of course, Derek Jeter. He has quietly enjoyed a very steady, healthy, and productive season, hasn't he?
I tell you the reason why he enjoys it, because nobody enjoys the game of baseball more than he does, and he's probably enjoying it more this year than any year in the past. And just like you said, Dave, the reason he's healthy, he's moving around better defensively than he ever has.
And you walk into Yankee Stadium and fans are still talking a year later about the play Jeter made in the American League Division Series against Oakland.
Well, I know at this time right now I'm supposed to explain it, but I can't. There's no reason he was down there to make that cutoff throw and the perfect toss to Posada. The only thing you can say are his instincts are just above and beyond most of ours.
Number 4.
So we're finally ready for the rematch of the 2001 World Series, which went 7 scintillating games. And here they meet in the regular season for the first time, Arizona and New York. So settle in for this one. Here's Craig Counsell, the third baseman, hitting .285, 1 homer, 30 driven in. A late arriving crowd on a beautiful night in New York, and that's strike one. Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire tonight. It's Bruce Fleming at first, Ed Rapuano at second, and Larry Poncino makes the calls at third. And Counsell takes the ball up high. Craig is looking for his first Yankee Stadium hit. So far 0 for 6 in this ballpark. Leading off tonight against the left-hander. And the 1-1 pitch. Foul tipped it into the midst. Spivey up next, and then Luis Gonzalez for the world champions.
Well, part of the reason Craig Counsell did not pick up a hit in the 3 games played here in the World Series, Bob Brenly did a lot of different things with him. He was hitting second for the most part, several times asked upon to sacrifice bunt.
1-2, waves and misses and strikes out, 1 gone. Hitchcock fans the first hitter. Spivey up next.
Well, this is a pitch that Sterling Hitchcock has not used very often the last couple of years. It's a cut fastball down and off the outside corner. The scouting report on Sterling Hitchcock is going to have to change now. If his arm strength is back, that's a big pitch for him to go along with that off-speed changeup.
Coming off of Tommy John surgery. Of course, in 1998. Hitchcock was just brilliant in the National League Championship Series. In fact, he was the MVP of that series and was also magnificent in the World Series in defeat to the Yankees. Filed away by Junior Spivey, and here's the guy Rick and everyone else is raving about. And part of the reason is because he has been unbelievable against left-hand pitchers. His batting average against lefties is .439, and that's the best in the majors.
Asked Bob Brenly about a month ago what the difference was in this kid. He was a guy that had not played a lot of baseball. Bob said he's starting to recognize not only off-speed pitches that he can hit, but just like that last one there that he was able to take. In the past, he's expanded the zone a lot. Now he knows what's going to be a strike, and for the most time what's not, and that average certainly dictates it.
He's always been a good minor league hitter. Now he is an extremely productive major league hitter. The fastball snuck in to make it 1-2. He hit an inside the park home run on Sunday at Fenway Park, one of 4 Diamondback home runs on the day to lead Arizona to a sweep of Boston. Now they come to New York, and it's up top 2-2.
That's the best velocity I have seen out of Sterling Hitchcock since you mentioned that Tommy John surgery that he had to go through. This crowd might have something to do with that.
Little extra adrenaline. Poked toward right and caught by the leaping Soriano for the out. So no hit for Spivey. Denied here. 2 gone. The batter is Luis Gonzalez.
I think it's kind of fitting that if he hits a line drive, his counterpart, the second baseman for the Yankees, would try to take that away. I think these two kids, not only is Sterling Hitchcock going against Randy Johnson tonight, but there's a couple of outstanding young second basemen that know they're on national TV. Well, they've already shown something.
Luis Gonzalez at .303. He's hit 13 home runs. He's driven in 43 runs. So after a chilly start, he has really heated up. In each of the 3 games in Boston, he had 2 hits. Arizona coming into tonight leading Los Angeles by 2 games in the National League West in first place. Fouled back, but a good rip by Gonzalez. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Gonzo with 57 home runs last year. He hit 20 quicker than anybody in the National League last year, and he just tried to do it again this year. To do that, you have to get pitches to hit. Well, baseball got wise. They realized this guy was legit, and he's had to be more patient.
Hitchcock inside and missing. On deck, Greg Colburn.
All of those RBIs you mentioned, Dave, currently rank him 8th in the National League in that department. He ranks 4th in the National League in base on balls.
Hitchcock has handled him well in the past. Luis just 5 hits and 21 at bats against this lefty. You count 3 balls and 1 strike. So a hitter's count for Arizona's number 3 man.
Maybe. Hitchcock doesn't give in very often.
See if he puts him on here. On the outside corner, and certainly kept it away from him. And the count is full.
Well, that 314 sign dictates what this pitch has to be and where it has to go. That 314 sign is down that right field line where most left-handed hitters take aim.
Pretty cozy at Yankee Stadium. That's the short porch. Bonds went up and over everything here over the weekend. Slap foul by Gonzalez. And consequently, by hitting one into the upper deck when the Giants were here, they gave him absolutely nothing to swing the bat at. Randy Johnson waiting his turn to take the mound. Yesterday, of course, Barry Bonds without an official at bat. Walked 4 times and hit by a pitch. The payoff. Struck him out. Hitchcock with a quick start strikes out 2. And on the topic of K's, Randy Johnson about to toe the slab in New York. To manage the Yankees, he was an all-city third baseman in his junior and senior years at St. Francis Prep School in New York City. Here's his starting lineup. Derek Jeter will begin it. Enrique Wilson is at third base tonight. Bernie Williams in there along with Jason Giambi, the designated hitter. But Alfonso Soriano not leading off tonight. He's dropped to 6th in the order, but not as any punishment. He is tops in the American League in total bases. And
that's exactly why Joe Torre has him there. He thinks that he's a guy, if a couple of people get on in front, can do some damage. Normally guys like A-Rod, Jason Giambi, Ichiro are leading in total bases. It's the young superstar for the Yankees.
Randy Johnson is 9-1, and at this pace the big unit will finish the season with 24 wins, 3 losses, and once again over 300 strikeouts.
Yeah, but his last start here at Yankee Stadium was exactly 7 years ago today. That was a different Randy Johnson than the one we're looking at tonight.
And in fact, in a regular season, he actually has a losing record against the Yankees. 6-7, 5-0 against them in the playoffs, though, and it really matters.
You know, I'll never forget when I first saw him as a young kid coming up at the Montreal Expos, 6'10", the tallest guy in the history of baseball. I thought, what in the world is he doing here? This guy should be playing basketball or something else. Well, we know what he's doing now, and he's doing it as well as anybody ever has.
Look at that 165 postseason earned run average against the Yankees. 3 of those wins in the World Series of 2001. And the big guy is ready. So is Jeter. And that's strike 1. Derek Jeter playing in his 1,000th Yankee game tonight. It does not include his 4 All-Star games, his 26 World Series appearances. Stings this one to right field, backing up Dean all the way to the track, and he makes the catch. Back first into the fence. Jeter took aim at that 314 mark and nearly muscled it out on the second pitch of the night.
Where was that fan at that reached over the right field wall during the postseason against Baltimore to take a fly ball away from the O's, create a home run for Derek Jeter? Well, he wasn't there that time, but who was there was Jose Guillen. Boy, what a job Guillen has done taking advantage of the opportunities that Bob Brenly has given him to play.
That opportunity opened up because of the bad injury, the shoulder injury suffered by Danny Batista, who is having such a fine year. First ball swinging, flying into right center by Wilson, and there's Steve Finley for the grab. Look now at how they set up around the big unit defensively in the outfield. Gonzalez, Finley, and Guillen. And at third base, Craig Counsell. Every time Craig Counsell plays on ESPN, he makes about 5 highlight reel plays.
Yeah, and you never know where he's going to be. When Tony Womack got injured, he played shortstop for the Diamondbacks. When Jay Bell got hurt, he went to second base. When Matt Williams went down, he was moved to third base. Doesn't matter where he plays, he's a Gold Glove type Major League Baseball player.
Base is empty for Bernie Williams, the center fielder, hitting .307. He's hit 10 home runs. Hitting left-handers very well, a .339 average, but of course those are lefties not named Randy Johnson. Although he's actually done pretty decently against the big unit, .286 in his career. He takes the breaking ball for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Mike Swanson, the outstanding publicity director for the Arizona Diamondbacks, dropped a note on me before tonight's game. In 175 chances, only 3 errors for Craig Counsell. Best in the majors, and that's at a new position.
Yeah, not even a natural third baseman, although he could have fooled us. He's a shortstop second baseman by trade. But he has been brilliant over there, and he said watching Matt Williams' footwork, which is like watching Fred Astaire dance when Williams is healthy. Of course, he hasn't been all year, and that's why Counsell is there, but he's learned so much by watching Matt Williams play, just moving his feet. The 1-2.
But Matt Williams is only about a month away from being healthy.
What happens then?
Well, I was going to ask you. You beat me to it. That's a tough call. Spivey's not going to move. Counsell's going to continue to play. Matt can only play third base, and that guy there is the only one that can answer that.
And he's mum at the moment. The 2-2 trickled along third, but a foul ball. And so Williams will have at least one more swing. Jason Giambi is on deck.
You know, you always get a little bit nervous when you highlight somebody defensively, and then, you know, right off the bat they hit
First play,
in between hop at them, or not with Counsell. We didn't have that problem last week with Andrew Jones either. He didn't let us down.
Never does.
Imagine that.
Nobody aboard. Williams trying to start something off of the big left-hander in the Yankees first. Into the dirt. So Williams, pretty good at bat here, has worked the count full against the 9-1 Randy Johnson, who comes into tonight, as you look at Jason Giambi hoping to bat here in the first inning, comes into tonight needing 8 strikeouts to pass Gaylord Perry for 7th on the all-time strikeout list. That's not his first one. It's ball 4. Williams on, so Giambi will swing in the first frame.
Well, it was a ball off the inside part of the plate, but it was a pitch that Sterling Hitchcock was getting called in the top of this first inning. Thus far, we've seen a little inconsistent zone from home plate umpire Tony Randazza. You know that after Counsell came back, after the 3-1 pitch was called on Luis Gonzalez, everybody told Randy Johnson, hey, expand that zone. Why would you throw a pitch over the plate when you don't have to get a strike called? Well, Hitchcock's zone was a little bit bigger than the one we're seeing here in the bottom of the first inning.
Giambi batting .316. He's hit 16 home runs. That's strike 1 along the outside edge.
This right here is why you buy a ticket. This one matchup to me is worth it. Most left-handers won't play against Randy Johnson. This guy wants to play.
Down low for a ball. Wasn't that long ago that all you were talking about when you mentioned Giambi and his stay in Yankee pinstripes to date was all the boos and his rough treatment here in New York? Well, you hear none of that now. He's turned them to cheers, and he did it by winning the American League Player of the Month award in May. Had a terrific May. Now just outside, and it is 2-1. In May, hit .340. A .717 slugging percentage, and all of a sudden the boos stopped. The batting average, the home run totals, the RBIs, all on the rise. Johnson to throw over, diving in, Bernie Williams.
He won't do that very often. The only reason he did it there, he's just trying to figure out mechanically why that velocity is not where it should be. 93, 94 miles an hour is not the norm for Randy Johnson. Throw a 94-mile-an-hour fastball on the outer half of the plate to this guy, you could find yourself down 2-0 real quick.
And the Yankees have hit a ton of home runs. That is ball 3. They've hit 98 of them, which is the most any major league club has hit. April, respectable, a .282 average. Not many home runs, but through the roof in the month of May. 3-1 Williams takes off, and it's hit toward third. And high hop for Counsell. There's plenty of time to throw out Giambi. That does it. 1 man left. We have played an inning in his World Series rematch, and it's 0-0 in Yankee Stadium. Big field just outside Yankee Stadium, where you can catch a ball game for free. And then just yards away inside one of the great baseball palaces ever built, probably the most famous on the face of the earth. That close. That's how close their dreams are, Rick Sutcliffe.
Well, on the opposite side of that baseball field, manager Lou Piniella, who also played and managed these New York Yankees, told me there's a lot of bars. And he said that's the reason these fans come in so prepared.
As we take a shot of a 6-year-old, that's just lovely. Thanks for that moment, Rick.
It's Lou. Lou knows more about this place than I do.
Oh. Greg Colburn at 308 with 3 homers. And starting this inning with a high fly to center field, sending Williams back. But he has some extra room out there. It's 408 to dead center field at Yankee Stadium. Colburn retired in front of the powerful Rubio Durazo.
Number 44.
I think that's probably the biggest thing that amazes me about all the home runs these Yankees have hit to this point. They're running away with it. Nobody's even close. There is a big backyard behind starting pitchers here in this place. You watch guys take batting practice and you'll know why Derek Jeter hits so many fly balls to that opposite field. You got to get every bit of it to get it out to left center, right center, or dead center.
Well, here's a guy who can hit it out off the end of the bat the other way. He can pull one into the upper deck at any moment. Durazo with tremendous power, one of the stronger hitters in the game. Very streaky. His home runs come in bunches. And he tied the team record for homers in a game earlier this season with 3. And a 9 RBI game in Arizona's victory against the Philadelphia Phillies. And he can just hit it a ton. Ian up next, and that misses inside. 2-1. And so far, no hits off of Sterling Hitchcock. But opponents are hitting .313 against the left-handers. He's been batted around, and that's why his ERA is 6. Lofted past third down the line. Wilson gives chase, but it's into the crowd.
Well, most of that offensive damage has been done just like it's been done here tonight by right-handed hitters. They're hitting .367. Left-handers just .167. The 2 left-handers that Hitchcock has faced thus far tonight, well, they've struck out. The 2 right-handers put pretty good swings on the ball.
The 2-2 up top, so a full count as the Diamondbacks look for their first base runner against Hitchcock.
I think all that Bob Brennan would like to do is just keep this guy healthy, just to see what kind of numbers that he could put up.
Suffered a broken bone in his hand during spring training. He will sit down, a strikeout victim. Well, 5 Diamondbacks have been up to hit. 3 of them have been struck out. Time for an update. Let's go to the studio now and Pam Ward. Pam?
Thank you, Dave. After getting swept by the Diamondbacks over the weekend, Boston on the board early against Colorado. That's a 2-out base hit for Brian Dahlbach off Denny Nagel. Johnny Damon scores from first. 1-0 Sox heading to the second.
Well, Arizona trying to do the same thing here to the Yankees that they just did to the Red Sox. Take 3. It's the first time they'd ever played at Fenway. First time in the regular season here at Yankee Stadium. Remember last year, Arizona took a 2-0 lead in the World Series. Then came here to New York and lost all 3 games in the Bronx. So they've yet to win a game in this ballpark. A strike again, and the count is 1-1.
You know, it was just a completely different situation last year. One thing, Randy Johnson did not pitch in that series. But I'll never forget the first couple of days, Bob Brenly and all of his players wanting to get down to ground zero and do whatever they could to help.
This one golfed into center, and Jeter calling everybody off. 1, 2, 3 go the Diamondbacks. So Hitchcock is very sharp early, and it's a scoreless game in New York. Baseball on ESPN, and tonight from Yankee Stadium, Rick Sutcliffe and Dave O'Brien. And thanks so much for tuning in to this rematch of the 2001 World Series. The Yankees with Posada, Soriano, and Coomer up against the big unit. 6'10" left-hander Randy Johnson. Posada jumps back away from the fastball. He's batting .274 with 10 homers. And he's driven in 41 runs.
That shows you the respect right there that Randy Johnson has for Jorge Posada. You don't knock down people that you know you can get out.
1-0 pitch with a wave and a miss on something off speed from the big unit.
And you know what that was? That was that split-fingered fastball that the last 2 spring trainings, the invited pitching coach to spring training for the Diamondbacks, Roger Craig, special invitation from manager Bob Brenly, that he's been working on. There it is again.
Back-to-back splits. Well, the first one was up and not where you'd usually see a split finger pitch.
You know what? This pitch is not designed to get a swing and miss. It's kind of a surrender pitch. It's just got some late little downward movement. Randy Johnson would prefer to get a ground ball on that pitch and keep his pitch count down, get deeper into ball games.
Well, you go up there thinking fastball first, slider second, and all of a sudden he's dealing with splitters. And he's got you 2-2. So if you're Posada, what are you going to guess here?
You have to start with a fastball.
Swing and a miss, and he struck him out, and that looked like the slider. So he whips him his first K tonight. Well, coming up Thursday night at 7:30 on ESPN, it's the quest for the cup. It's almost over. John Saunders and Barry Melrose break down all the Stanley Cup action, and we'll get you ready for Game 5 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Quest for the Cup Thursday at 7:30. Then at 8 on ABC Sports, the Carolina Hurricanes and Detroit Red Wings take to the ice in Game 5 of that exciting series. And the batter Soriano with a swing and a miss. He's hitting .310. And out of the second baseman, 15 home runs. So they get some serious sock out of the middle between Soriano and Jeter.
35 ounces, the heaviest bat of any New York Yankee in the lineup tonight. A lot of the players were talking during batting practice, wondering if he might change a little bit because of the big unit. There's a lot of guys that change their approach many times trying to do something with this guy, but Soriano has not.
Well, it has worked to swing the heavier stick. He'll roll out to Counsell here. But his numbers across the board have just been tremendous. In fact, he had hit in 10 in a row before taking an over on Saturday against San Francisco. 2 out in second.
First pitch, number 39.
And Ron Coomer coming to bat now.
That is something. Just the 64th ball game of the year for the New York Yankees. Soriano not only with 40 RBIs, but 47 runs scored.
You're talking about all the home runs the Yankees have hit. Right now, 98 of them in their 63rd game. The fastest Yankee team to reach 100 was the great 1961 club. That was Mantle and Maris. And they did it in 70 games. So the chance is very good that this Yankee team will exceed that. They had a span of games, a 15-game span in the middle to the end of May. You got to look at Rick Down, and they hit 36 home runs in that span, Rick, and that's just 3 shy of the major league record for 15 games.
That's the 3rd hitting instructor for these New York Yankees in the last 3 years. Rick Down was their hitting coach once before, back from 1993 to 95.
2-1 on Coomer, who's hitting 3 in a row. He's getting to start at first base this evening. It's 3-1. On deck, Shane Spencer.
This guy is just a professional hitter right here. I was talking with the general manager of the Yankees before tonight's game, Brian Cashman, saying that they didn't know how he would adjust to not playing a lot as he did with Minnesota. He's been terrific and a real blessing, they say, in the clubhouse as well. Not complaining about a lack of playing time.
Full count on him. Of course, Nick Johnson, the powerful young first baseman, is not in the lineup tonight. He's a left-hand hitter.
Take a look at this. Just tip your hat. Upper 90s. Close your eyes. I think Damian Miller did close his eyes on that pitch. He knew it was going to be right there.
There's a little grimace in advance. Fouled away. Miller will tell you he uses a bigger mitt with a lot more padding in it when he catches both the big unit and Curt Schilling.
I would put a pillow inside that glove in my left hand. Just think about all of the different types of deliveries that he has to deal with during the course of the year. Schilling throwing 97 from the right side, the big unit from the left side, and you've got the young Kim coming in from that submarine at 97 from the right. You've got Mike Myers, a submariner, from the left out of the pin.
Late swing and a miss, and he strikes him out. 2 strikeouts for the big unit in inning number 2, and it's still a 0-0 game here in New York. Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien, and no score, no hits as we move on to the 3rd inning. Sterling Hitchcock against the big unit, Randy Johnson. It's the bottom 3 for the Diamondbacks: Finley, Miller, and then Tony Womack. And after the first couple of innings, Hitchcock has 3 strikeouts. Randy Johnson has 2. Finley batting for the first time at .266 with 11 home runs. He pops this one on the infield. And Soriano with the grab, so Hitchcock has been perfect through 7 hitters. Our aerial views, beautiful tonight, courtesy of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Overhead is Goodyear's blimp Stars and Stripes, continuing a 76-year tradition as the aerial ambassador and icon of the 102-year-old company. Ever been in the Goodyear blimp, Rick?
No. You?
I have. Got a free trip a couple of years. Probably shouldn't say that, but the Goodyear folks are just wonderful to me anyway. And I'm right down there in Florida, around Pompano Beach, so.
You don't take up as much space as I do.
I think there are safety measures when you're 6'6" tall. In my case, you know, it's me and a bag of sand. That's all.
Was it amazing?
Oh, stunning. Took me over the beach and everything.
Oh,
just great. Damian Miller at the bat. He's hitting .281 with 8 home runs and 29 runs batted in, having a very good year behind the plate.
Really had a terrific first month of April with 22 RBIs for Damian Miller. His career high is just 47. So a much better offensive player this year than at any time in the past.
He'll take ball 4, and he becomes the first man to reach first base tonight for the world champions, who of course won the ring away from the New York Yankees. And amazing 7-game series.
What an amazing year last year was. You stop and think that after 2,400 regular season and postseason games, it all came down to Game 7 of the World Series with Roger Clemens against Curt Schilling. You couldn't have drawn it up any better than that.
And in the end, Luis Gonzalez against Mariano Rivera, and a base hit that traveled about 100 feet and set the state of Arizona on its ear.
Yeah, but this guy right here was the one that set it all up. Mark Grace got the base hit to start the inning, but Bob Brinley had a couple of options to pinch hit with for Tony Womack, and he didn't. He stayed with him.
0-1 pitch, a strike. Womack in the hole, but he came up big in that 9th inning.
He had Reggie Sanders on the bench, who hit 33 homers for him. He also had Rubio Durazo to pinch hit with, but he wanted Womack. He saw what Womack did in the final game against St. Louis when he got the base hit to win that series. He gave him another chance, and he responded.
A double tied up the ball game, and then a little later on in the inning, Luis Gonzalez stepped into history.
Craig Counsell also right in the middle of it, but not getting any notoriety. I don't think he wants any. He got hit in the next at bat to load the bases, setting the stage for Gonzo.
Miller at first base, a little bit wide, dropped by Posada, but no advance by Miller. No score here, 3rd inning.
I think Posada might have watch him try to bring this back to the corner. He knew it was off the plate, but see him try to close it, catch it in the very end of that glove so that he could keep the heel of the glove even closer to the outside corner, maybe getting that generous call.
Pass ball's been a big issue for him over the last couple of years. Poked into center, softly hit, it'll fall down for a single. Miller holds at second base. So Womack just kind of flips that bat through the heart of the strike zone and grabs a soft single to the outfield.
Well, we talked so much about the blue pit by Luis Gonzalez. Womack might have hurt us. Done a little bit differently, but that basically landed in the same spot. Look at the aggressiveness on the part of even Damian Miller, the catcher for Arizona. He wanted to go from first to third. He just couldn't when he saw the charge that Bernie Williams put on that ball.
First hit tonight for the Diamondbacks. And here's Counsell. The third baseman struck out to start the night. He's cooled a little bit here in the month of June, trying to get going again. 226 in this month. Boy, does he hold that bat high. An unorthodox batting stance, to be sure. This is not one you're going to teach the kids on the Little League diamond that we showed you just outside Yankee Stadium, Rick.
Well, looking at him, though, he's got to be a role model for those kids.
Oh, in every other way.
He could probably go over there and play, and they wouldn't even check his ID. Danny Amati looks older than Counsell does.
He's 32 years old. He could pass for your paper boy.
Boy, he can play, though.
2 on, 1 out. And a strike. Here's the diamond where Counsell, a la a young Willie Mays, just might cross the street after the ball game. Look at his numbers, 377 with men in scoring position.
He could walk over that Little League field and might not even be one of the top draft picks if they start to choose teams. But with those numbers, he'd be one of the first picks by Bob Brenly.
Yeah, he'd say, now wait a minute, you may want to reconsider. I'm hitting 377 with men in scoring position.
Yeah, just across the street.
Yeah. Miller and Womack aboard. Chop towards short. Jeter was leaning towards second, had to come in for it. Plenty of time. 2 on at second and third now with 2 away. And the dangerous Junior Spivey approaching the plate.
Completely different story tonight as far as what the managers are expecting out of their starting pitchers. You're going to look for Randy Johnson just to get stronger and stronger as this game goes on. That's not the past with Hitchcock. Even when he was healthy, he was a 6-inning type guy. And that's all Joe Torre wants to get him through. Get him through 6 innings any way possible, staying close to Randy Johnson, and then maybe we'll have a chance.
Well, if you consider a regular season game a big game, a game of some importance, this would have to qualify. These two teams hoping to meet up again in the World Series as Spivey takes a strike. And Hitchcock has developed a reputation as a big game pitcher in the playoffs of 1998. Certainly came up big for the Padres. Trying to hold here in the 3rd inning. And Spivey rolls it foul. He's behind 0-2.
Hitchcock also came up big in the World Series in Game 5 for these New York Yankees. Came on to pitch the top of the 12th inning. They were able to score a run in the bottom of that inning with Hitch getting the victory. Might be the reason for that 2-year contract he received over the winter.
I would say so.
You know how the boss likes winners.
So Spivey trying to wait until the last possible moment. Wound up flicking it foul. On deck, Luis Gonzalez. But right now it's Hitchcock against Spivey, with Miller and Womack in scoring position. Softly and foul again. We talked about Spivey's great success off of lefties this year. Look at his slugging percentage against lefties. I mean, it's just sick. .894. That's second in baseball. It's only one man. Barry Bonds.
Do we even count him anymore?
Not anymore. Not in that league of his own. 2 on, 2 out, the 0-2. Inside, just barely missing.
Well, the fans have been used tonight to getting this call. Normally it's on the outside corner to a left-handed hitter. Here he tries to expand that zone down and into the right-hander. Didn't work.
Getting a foul tip, and Posada could not hang on. So Spivey is still kicking.
Well, this is the best pitch of the night for Sterling Hitchcock. Watch the downward movement on this changeup. Look at that thing biting down. I mean, Posada didn't know if he was going to be able to handle it or not. The amazing part was that Spivey was just able to slow his swing down enough to be able to get a piece of that and continue this at bat.
Spivey somehow stayed away from that pitch. 2-2. Another enticing one just off the corner by Hitchcock.
Boy, the improvement's just amazing in his knowledge of the strike zone. It's a ball. It might get called, but if it does, you don't want your players swinging at that pitch. What discipline he's shown with that fastball on both sides of the plate here in this at bat.
Miller and Womack leading at second and third. Popped up out of play. So meeting for the first time since Game 7 of the World Series. Arizona and the Yankees. And the Diamondbacks are trying to cash in on their first scoring chance of the night. Diamondbacks taking the series 4-3. They outscored the Yankees by a lot in the series. The Yankees hit just $183. Randy Johnson and Kurt Schilling had the most to say about that. They were co-MVPs.
Yeah, but most of that offensive damage that the Diamondbacks were able to do was not here.
Sharply hit but foul. And Spivey was right on that one. Still 2-2. This is some at bat by Junior Spivey, and an example of why he is so successful in the National League this season, seemingly coming out of nowhere. Hitting .324 at the start of the night. And this will be the 10th pitch offered up by Sterling Hitchcock in this at bat. Inside again for ball 3. All filled up now. Next up, Luis Gonzalez.
And he had a big time at bat. Even though Hitchcock got the strikeout in the first inning, he got a couple of good swings during that at bat, which could set up a situation for Spivey here to see something in the zone.
The 3-2. Popped him up over second. Jeter there. And he has it. 2 men stranded at second and third. Hitchcock survives that inning. And through 2.5 at Yankee Stadium, it's 0-0. On a Monday night in New York, that is the sun setting over the George Washington Bridge. And we welcome you back to Yankee Stadium. Rick Sutcliffe, Dave O'Brien. Inside the ballpark, it's 0-0. We might be saying that for a long time, the way these two are pitching. Randy Johnson and Sterling Hitchcock. One hit on the board so far, and Arizona has that. Shane Spencer bats for the first time, hitting .246 with a pair of home runs, but not hitting much right now, and in a slump is no way to face Randall David Johnson. Spencer now on a 3-for-31 slide. 1 ball, 1 strike. Tips low for ball. And the man in the on-deck circle is tonight's right fielder for Joe Torre, Marcus Timms, about to make his major league debut. And what is that? Some kind of minor league penance for Yankee farmhands who do something wrong, go up and make your big league debut? Yeah, face Randy Johnson. That's your punishment, kid. Whatever you did wrong. Count is 3-2.
Well, it wasn't by design for Joe Torre. He would like to have had it happen another way. And really, Timms was struggling in AAA. He got Joe Torre's eye in spring training playing so well.
Rocketed into left, and that could be for extra bases by Gonzalez and up against the fence. Spencer wants 2, and he'll get to a double for Shane Spencer. But it just sucked his way out of the slump. Leading off the third with a 2-base hit.
Well, he's got one of the quicker bats in baseball, and when he makes contact Don Zimmer says it comes off his bat like a golf ball comes off somebody's club. You could see there how quick he was to that pitch. If he could just make an adjustment to the off-speed stuff, particularly from a right-handed pitcher, he could be playing every day here for the Yankees.
So you want to make about 40,000 new friends, including Don Zimmer and Joe Torre. If you're Marcus Timms, step to the plate against the big unit in your major league debut and drive in a run with a hit. And it looks like it should be pronounced like the river that runs through London. Looks like Thames, but it's actually pronounced Timms. Swinging a high drive into left. Gonzalez back to the track, to the wall. Wow, what a debut! How about that? Oh, mercy! You've got to be kidding me. The first pitch he sees in his major league career, and he hits a two-run homer off Randy Johnson. Goodness gracious.
You know he's not seen anything like this at any time in his baseball career. The big unit on the mound, big unit maybe guessing as we look at a wonderful moment for that young man right there. A curtain call here at Yankee Stadium.
One pitch into his major league career, and he's getting a curtain call. Man. Welcome to the big leagues, Marcus Timms. A strike to Derek Jeter.
That's hard to get to. I mean, most guys try to lay off that high fastball. He said, no, I like it up there. And the fans here loved it.
We'll see where it ended up. It was heading in the general direction of the Monuments. Didn't get quite that far, but it landed near Monument Park.
That's intelligent hit there, because if you pull it down the line and a fan gets a hold of it, you might not get it back. Just have it drop into your own bullpen.
Just as Marcus planned it. That is incredible, and Jeter has to race out of the batter's box to avoid getting plunked.
What was it Jack Buck said on that home run by Kirk Gibson against Dennis Eckersley? I can't believe what I just saw. I mean, I know this isn't the World Series, it's June, but I can't believe that.
But that's Randy Johnson out there. Did he check? Jeter did not, and he strikes out. One gone. Let's go to the studio and Pam Ward.
All right, Dave, the Dodgers fresh off a weekend in Baltimore, now in Tampa Bay. Marquise Grissom likes what he gets from Wilson Alvarez as he smacks his 8th home run of the year in the second inning. That made it 2-0 LA. It's now 3-0 in the third. And the Giants, Damon Minor playing first base. And Esteban Loaiza serves up the gopher ball to Damon, his third of the year. 3-1 Giants. Barry Bonds, by the way, 0 for 1 with the walk so far, guys.
Thank you, Pam. And at Yankee Stadium, the Yankees lead it 2-0. The second Yankee to hit a home run in his first major league at bat, John Miller in 1966. It is not our John Miller of Sunday Night Baseball fame. Although that John Miller may have been partial to Hawaiian shirts and shorts as well. We really don't know. We have no autobiographical information at all about him. But we do about that man, Marcus Timms. It's amazing when you think that he only was hitting .216 at AAA Columbus. Just 6 home runs. He was really scuffling.
Well, we were told that he was really selective at the plate in spring training. Well, he had a wonderful year in AA last year where he hit 31 home runs. But none of those off the velocity of the guy he just saw or from the release point.
It leaves you dumbfounded, doesn't it?
I'm like that a lot. Even worse than that. Good for him.
In there for strike 3 called. So Enrique Wilson. Fans looking, and ever since the home run, it appears that Randy Johnson got riled up a little bit. He has fanned Jeter and Wilson back to back, but nothing's going to knock the smile off Tim's face running to the rest of his life. 25 years old. And he homers off Randy Johnson in his first major league at bat on the first pitch he ever sees in the majors.
Well, that'll get you another cup of coffee.
That is the stuff of dreams.
Well, you know what's going on right now in this series, and for those that like interleague or don't, these two teams are seeing how they match up against each other. Joe Torre's going to remember what he just saw come postseason time.
Line drive base hit the other way by Bernie Williams. He fought off that fastball. 97 miles an hour. And it's the third hit in the inning off of Johnson.
Well, that's normally how you hit a fastball from Randy Johnson, up in that zone. That's the same pitch that the youngster just deposited into the bullpen in left center. We know what a great hitter Bernie Williams is. All he could do was just play pepper with the right fielder.
What we know about Marcus Thames, by the way, the folks who saw his name up there in the scoreboard before he stepped in, my guess is 90% of them had no idea how to pronounce it, but they will after tonight. Giambi checks and it's outside for a ball. What we did know about Tim's coming in was that he had excellent power. At Double-A last year, he hit 31 homers. He batted .321 and he drove in 97 runs. The home runs were a record at Norwich, the Double-A franchise.
Yeah, he finished second in the MVP in that league.
And obviously the Yankees thought a great deal of him and they liked him a lot in spring training. He hit well, he performed well.
Well, they had a tough decision. They had Gerald Williams making a lot of money, a proven veteran, and they went with Williams. Well, when they didn't get the production they wanted, he was let go, and there was a spot open for a younger player.
Wicked swing and a miss by Giambi.
That was all set up by what Timms did there. The strikeout to Jeter and Enrique Wilson came on mostly breaking ball. Randy Johnson not real happy with his fastball here tonight. A 2-0 count. On that pitch there, he went with the breaking ball.
Giambi 0 for 1. He's tapped out to third. 2 out. And on the whole manner of Tim's coming up to bat tonight to hit that first pitch home run off Randy Johnson, and the only reason he's here is because Juan Rivera, who chipped a kneecap running into a cart on the field during batting practice last week, is now on the DL as of today. He got all of 6 at bats. They called him up Wednesday, and then in batting practice he ran into a cart and injured that knee, so they had to DL him today. And by the way, there were none of those carts on the field during Yankee batting practice today. None could be seen. George Steinbrenner ordered those removed. 3-1 pitch hammered and a base hit. That got by Womack and into left. Bernie Williams headed for third. He'll reach easily. Giambi with a single. That's the 4th hit off Randy Johnson in the 3rd inning.
That should have been a fielder's choice that ended the inning, though. If Tony Womack just would have stayed put, he could have just made one step and a dive to get to the ball. Why did he break towards second base there? I mean, that was a fastball that was called for. You don't expect anybody to pull that pitch. He not only guessed that he was going to pull it, but he guessed after the pitch had already come off the bat.
So the Yankees trying to add some more. Posada to dig in. He struck out in the 2nd inning, 0 for 1. Posada, one of the many Yankees who's actually hitting left-handers at a very good clip. He's batting .358 off him coming into tonight. First and third, 2 away. And 2 runs in on the Timms home run. 2-0.
Well, from the outside looking in, when this baseball game began, you would have thought no chance for the Yankees tonight. Kind of a makeshift lineup. A lot of the regulars not playing. Randy Johnson opposing Sterling Hitchcock. Hitchcock 0-8 against Arizona.
Backing away quickly. Posada nearly got clipped, and it's 3-0.
Well, he acts like he didn't want anything to do with Posada right here. But you make one mistake to the next guy coming up after that. That 6-0 lead is going to be all the Yankees need.
The next guy is Alfonso Soriano, 15 homers.
This thus far is a pitch around piece here by the big unit.
Almost Almost hit him again. Tell you what, when Randy Johnson pitches around you, he gets your attention. He walks him and they're loaded.
He didn't care if he hit him or not. You know what it does? It just opened up the outer half of the plate in the next at bat with Posada. You better move. I'm going to move both your feet so that hopefully I can get you out the next time. He didn't want anything to do with him in that bat. He wanted Soriano. Guess what? He's got it.
Chuck Niffen, the pitching coach to the hill.
And there's nothing the pitching coach really says here. The main reason going out there now, he's already thrown 26 pitches this inning and is wonderfully conditioned as Randy Johnson is. Anybody would need a break right now. Gather your thoughts, take a couple of deep breaths, get your heartbeat back on a normal pattern, make a good pitch, and hopefully get an out.
Randy Johnson's last start at Yankee Stadium before tonight was 7 years ago today, June 10th, 1995. That did not go well. The way it's going tonight, he can wait another 7 years. They're loaded. Soriano with a cut and a miss. Nothing in one, 2 down, and a Yankee at every base.
Soriano saw 3 breaking balls his first at bat. The first 2 were in that same location with the same result, a swing and a miss. But if he misses with that out over the plate, he can handle that one.
Inside and twisting out of the way, the slender Soriano just avoiding getting points.
You know, his velocity's down and his command is way off with that fastball tonight. Overthrowing it because he doesn't have the normal velocity that he's used to. The release point's not there.
Fouled away very quickly off to the left. The pitch before that foul was 97 miles an hour and nearly poked a hole in the shirt of Alfonso Soriano.
You'll watch Randy Johnson a lot of times, Dave, try to keep that right shoulder closed. He'll take that glove and bring it back to his left side as if to say, you're flying open. Well, that's when everything changes. You lose that front side. The most important thing when you're throwing a pitch gets left behind, and that's your arm that has the baseball in it.
6-10, so something's out of whack. Here's the 1-2. He struck him out, and that'll do it. He fans Soriano. So Randy Johnson strikes out 3 in the inning, but he gives Marcus Thames a moment to remember, and Yankee fans a moment to remember for a long, long time. His first major league home run. Marcus Thames, the very first pitch he ever sees in the major leagues, moments ago. He hit over the left field fence off Randy Johnson, and a few moments ago when he ran out to right field to take his defensive position, the Yankee fans honored him again. And if he keeps swinging the bat like that, Reggie, this is going to be a common sight. A curtain call after one major league swing at Yankee Stadium. Gonzalez trying to bunt for a hit, fouls it away.
Yankee fans in right field were spoiled for the last several years with Paul O'Neill out there and all the ovations that they were able to give him. Thus far, with Paul O'Neill retiring over the winter, the Yankees are still looking for that player.
Gonzalez has struck out in his only plate appearance. So his average sits at .302. It's the 3, 4, and 5 men for the Diamondbacks as they try and get even against Sterling Hitchcock. He's allowed just 1 hit so far, pitching very well, and he snuck that one by Luis. 1 and 2. What do you think? Do you think Gonzalez will reach 57 home runs again, Sutton?
No.
Not going to give him enough to hit.
Word's out.
Yeah. 2 and 2.
I told him at the home run derby a couple of years ago when he won that he messed up. At that time he was the best kept secret in baseball. A lot of people watch that home run derby.
Yeah, they sure do. Now back. And a lot of people saw his game-winning hit in the 7th game of the World Series against Mariano Rivera. Just enough, he said. He choked up just a touch and muscled that pitch into the outfield. The infield in. He's not choking up here. He's burying that bat handle. The 2-2. Struck him out swinging. So he's fanned twice. That's 4 Ks already for Hitchcock.
And that's all Sterling Hitchcock's trying to do now is get through the 6th inning. You find yourself just 8 outs away from that point. Even without Mariano Rivera down there in the bullpen, it's still it's something that you would turn to with the lead if you're Joe Torre.
And Rivera placed on the disabled list today, in case you missed it, with a strained right groin. So the Yankees, without their superstar closer, that's retroactive to June 9th. And Steve Carce will take over that job in the interim until Rivera returns.
Bad day for the Riveras. It was a tough spring training for the Riveras. That being Ruben Rivera. He got caught taking something out of Derek Jeter's locker.
Juan Rivera and Mariano Rivera both DL'd today by New York. The good news is everybody still has ownership of their gloves. And that's on the inside corner. The count 2-1.
You know, Ruben Rivera was one of those minor league players of the year for these Yankees, and a lot like Tim's, you know, just they look for the great athletes, and then they trust their minor league instructors to develop them.
Check swing by Colburn. It's 3-1.
Brian Cashman telling me today that their prized third baseman Drew Henson, a quarterback at the University of Michigan, playing real well down there, and on a daily basis Clete Boyer working with him.
Ball 4. Hitchcock decides to pass on Colburn, who is 5 for 10 off him in his career. Well, Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, it's More Sports. Comedian Jay Moore offers his unique and humorous insights on the world of sports in front of a live studio audience. Joining Jay this week will be boxer Evander Holyfield and musician Tommy Lee in the studio. Evander Holyfield obviously will have some thoughts about Mike Tyson and Lennox Lewis.
I'll tell you what, Moore's a funny man.
He is a funny dude.
Oh, I was with him Saturday in Kansas City. He you know, there's guys that can tell stories, and then there's just people that are funny. I mean, this guy can do it both.
1 on for Rubio Durazo. He was caught looking in inning number 2, hitting .273. This season got off to a rocky start in spring training, and he broke a bone in his hand, but he is healthy again and takes it wide. And Posada will hand deliver this baseball. And Hitchcock came into the game allowing a batting average of .313. And facing a good hitting team like Arizona, did not figure to have a very successful outing tonight. Just didn't look that way. But the only hit he's given up so far was a little floater into center field by Tony Womack. A single in the 3rd inning, and nothing came of that. He has walked 2 men. He's fallen behind 2-0 on Durazo. Socked into left along the line. Spencer charging toward the foul line, sliding, but it's off into the stands. Very tight quarters down there, both the left field line and the right field line at Yankee Stadium. Not a lot of room for an outfielder to maneuver.
Third base umpire Larry Poncino hustling down that line to make the call, but look at Durazo just standing there watching it. All you got to do is swing the bat. You don't have to play umpire too. That ball was close enough that he needed to be rounding that bag, trying to get to second base, maybe third base. Bob Brenly does not appreciate lack of efforts as that one was.
Colburn leading at first, and the 2-1 pitch. The bat is split in half as it drops into right for a single. Colburn advancing to second, so they're 2 on with 1 out. Let's go to the studio. Here's Pam Ward.
All right, Dave, the Giants chasing both the Dodgers and Diamondbacks, and they are taking on Toronto. And Raul Mondesi, with his team down 3-1, ties it up with 1 swing in the bat. His 13th of the year. The Jays got 2 more in the 3rd to take a 5-3 lead. And now Lou Merloni up for the Red Sox. Jason Varitek stole second base, and he scores on that single. It's now 2-0 Sox over the Rockies. Dave?
Those catcher's wheels on Jason Varitek, huh? The Red Sox, after being swept by Arizona at Fenway, showing some life tonight in Boston. Here's Guillen. A strike on him. He's popped the short. 0 for 1, but they're 2 on for him.
Everybody watching Curt Schilling go up against Pedro Martinez in that big-time matchup. Pedro picking up his first loss of the year. Schilling getting his 12th win. Also, John Burkett lost his first decision of the year yesterday as well to Arizona.
The 0-1 pitch, a trickler to third. Wilson with a tough play, a do or die, and he does. Well done by Enrique Wilson. Colburn to third base. Durazo to second. And Wilson on a hard charge scooped it cleanly.
Well, it really was a good play because Guillen has that kind of power where when he takes a big swing, your first decision as an infielder is just which way do I go, left or right. Well, you had to come in on that ball. You had to do it in a hurry. We know the tall grass here at Yankee Stadium is not going to help that ball get to you. Big time play.
Wilson playing tonight with a lefty hitting Ventura on the bench with Randy Johnson going. And here's Steve Finley, 0 for 1.
Finley and Hitchcock teammates back in 1998. World Series team of the San Diego Padres.
Strike on Steve Finley, who's had a very good month of June, coming in batting .407 this month.
Finley also had an outstanding postseason at .365, .368 against the Yankees in the World Series. It wasn't that same story in '98 when he hit only .083.
And this is a pitcher that he feels pretty comfortable against. Obviously saw the ball real well in the World Series against Sterling Hitchcock. 7 hits in 17 at bats, and 3 of those hits are home runs. All the way. 1 and 2, so Hitchcock in front now.
Oh, there's always an advantage for a hitter when he's friends with the pitcher. You don't even worry about the ball hitting you. You don't even worry about him coming in and moving your feet. Look at the free swing that Finley had there and that fastball in. He knows that that's as far in as Hitchcock is going to try to come because of that friendship.
The left-hander's 1-2 pitch. The other way, Spencer on the run, and he can't get it. It drops in. Colburn scores. Durazo scores. Into second, Finley. And he hurts his friend here with a 2-run double, and that ties the ball game.
Well, you know he's not going to come in again. You almost got to that pitch, so you look away and you look soft. That's the only way you can hit that pitch. That's Payne on the outside corner. Look at the little cut fastball out there, and look at where his head was. He knew he wasn't going to come in. He's in that comfort zone, and because of it, we're right back in a comfortable zone for Arizona. Well, he put himself in that spot. This is kind of the knock on Sterling Hitchcock. He gets a lead, and he starts picking. Immediately in this inning, he walked Greg Colburn.
Damian Miller walked in the 3rd inning. That's an interesting point you raise about friendship. And he knows that.
See, I wouldn't throw at you.
Well, that's what I was about to say. I mean, you'd never knock me down, would you?
No, you could backleg me all day long. I never threw at anybody that I knew I could get out.
and you knew you could get out all your friends, huh?
No, there was a bunch of guys that had to be hit.
I used to say about guys like Bob Gibson and Don Drysdale, the grandmother is finding a place to sit down. He knocked relatives down. Doesn't matter. Swing and a miss by Miller. And it's 1 and 2.
Knocked their kids down in the father-son-daughter game. They were all about one thing, and that was winning ball games. What Roger Clemens said yesterday, Joe Torre, they didn't want Barry Bonds to put on a show. They wanted a victory, and they got it.
Yeah, of course, that had nothing to do with friendship. The 1-2 pitch, fouled out of play. And I love Dusty Baker's comments afterwards. He said, you know, I have nothing but the utmost respect for Roger Clemens, but if Roger were pitching in the National League, we'd be calling him Roger the Dodger instead of the Rocket. Not wanting to challenge Barry Bonds, and he kind of hinted he was going to hit him on that big elbow guard of Barry's, and indeed he did drill him yesterday. Bonds did not get an official at bat. The 1-2. Slicer foul. A couple of schools of thought on that. I know Joe Morgan believes that it's entertainment. People come to the ballpark to see Barry Bonds hit. Yesterday, 4 walks. He gets hit by a pitch. Joe Torre says, I'm not here to entertain people. And clearly, the Rocket feels the same way.
They got their entertainment in the first ball game when Bonds put one up there. They said, what, an estimated 470 feet away?
A shot into the upper deck. Cut on and missed. Miller fan side retired, but Arizona draws even on a 2-run double by Steve Finley, a buddy of Sterling Hitchcock. Wednesday baseball coming your way on ESPN, and we kick it off at 1 o'clock. It'll be Arizona against these New York Yankees. Wrapping up the series, Mike Mussina on the mound for New York, trying to go to 10-2. Presented by Jiffy Lube. It's the Braves and the Twins at 7 o'clock. Atlanta visiting Minnesota for the first time since Game 7 of the '91 World Series. And this is Game 1 of the Diamondbacks-Yankees series from New York. A 2-2 tie. Arizona coming in first place in the NL West. A 2-game lead over those Dodgers, and a 3.5 over San Francisco. Thanks to the Yankees taking 2 out of 3 from the Giants in this building over the weekend. Ron Coomer pops up behind the mound, and there's Spivey for the catch. Let's quickly go to Pam Ward in the studio. Pam.
All righty, Dave. The Braves have won 6 in a row, but the Twins giving them plenty to think about. Greg Maddux delivers that pitch, and Matt LaCroix comes through. Christian Guzman scores. It's 2-0 at that point. Twins now up 4-0 in the first. And in the 5th inning in Boston, Bobby Estalella has done something no one has done all year against Derek Lowe. That is hit a home run. 7th of the year for Bobby. Red Sox still up 3-1, but the first dinger, Lowe's given up.
This one tied up 2-2. Thank you, Pam. 4th inning. 1 down in front of Shane Spencer. Shane Spencer, the man who doubled, leading off the 3rd inning off of Randy Johnson. And then moments later, and I mean moments later, Marcus Timms stepped to the plate to make his major league debut and had this place rocking and rolling just a few seconds later with his first major league swing and home run off of Randy Johnson. And Timms up next, down and in right over the shoelaces. 1 ball, 1 strike on Spencer.
I'll never forget the first pitch I ever threw in the big leagues. I'm warming up and the velocity's saying 89, 91, whatever. Steve Yeager put down fastball, and I went to let it go, and it was like an out-of-body experience. It was about 60 miles an hour. I lost complete. I didn't know what happened. Steve Yeager come running out. He says, "You all right?" I went, "I don't know. I think so. I don't know what just happened there." The next pitch, everything was fine. We were off and running. For Timms to walk up there on the first pitch from this guy in this place.
It's the kind of thing that, you know, the kids watching tonight's game have dreamed about doing against that pitcher in this ballpark, against Randy Johnson at Yankee Stadium. Flying right center field, hit pretty well, but Finley will back up to the track to make the catch. 2 gone, and now Timms. We know how he's going to be greeted by the Yankee Stadium fans. How is Randy Johnson going to greet him in his second meeting?
We think a lot alike, partner.
There's no question that Johnson was very, very irate with himself after giving up the homer and the double in that inning. First pitch is high for ball 1. Marcus Timms, 25 years old, just called up as of today from AAA Columbus. He twists himself into the ground, trying to do it again, and it's 1-1.
Well, he got a little different pitch. The last 2 pitches have been breaking balls. This one finally, Randy Johnson got it where he wanted. I don't think he's going to appreciate another big swing like that. This might be the one you were talking about.
Fouled away. 98 miles an hour.
Look at him. He's mad at himself. He didn't want to strike there. He wanted to strike something else. He wanted to strike some fear into the hearts of this youngster. That man knows all about that. I'll never forget Don Drysdale telling me in spring training, if you could put a half of inch of fear in a man's heart, you own him. Well, Manny Johnson and Roger Clemens have done that to some players over the years.
Into the dirt. Of course, this man, Randy Johnson, has been compared to the great teammate of Don Drysdale, Sandy Koufax. He's been nothing short of a modern-day 6'10" Sandy Koufax.
I've been watching him all along tonight. Something's different, and I can see it now. Watch where he starts his hands and his delivery. See how low they are? Remember how he used to peer in over that glove?
Just low, full count. What a good at bat out of Timms. Why do you think he's doing that?
Well, obviously mechanically he's been a little bit out of sync. You know, a couple of starts ago he only had 4 strikeouts. Been fighting his arm all night tonight.
He jammed Timms there.
See him yank that right arm back. That front shoulder's flying out, and maybe sometimes with their hands starting so high, you know, they've got further to go. Now you've got to go back down, and then they've got to go all the way around. Your arm doesn't catch up. Well, an easy way to eliminate that problem is just to start your hands lower, because that's the position that your arm eventually is going to get to, and it just gets there a little bit sooner.
Well, you know what's interesting about it, though, many things, but he's 9-1 with a 2.56 ERA. Why mess with anything?
Yeah, but he pitched much better the first month of the season when he was a National League Pitcher of the Month than he did the second.
3-2. He struck him out. Got him with a breaking ball. And it's a recovery inning for Randy Johnson. Still not happy with something, but he got them 1-2-3. We're tied at 2. 2, the New York Yankees 2, so all tied up as we bring you to the top half of the 5th in this World Series rematch between the Yanks and the D-backs. It wasn't all that far from Monument Park out there. Marcus Timms hit his first home run on the first pitch you looked at tonight. Fans, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. Any accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent. Want to send your favorite player to the All-Star game? Well, simply log on to MLB.com or RadioShack.com, and you can vote right now. Don't miss the All-Star game coming up on July 9th from Milwaukee.
Have I ever told you how well you do that?
Well, thank you. That's awfully sweet of you.
I've had nightmares that you asked me to read that one time.
Well, next week I'm planning on doing when we go to Milwaukee, in fact.
Oh.
We're going to have a big staff meeting about everything. I know you'll be great at it. You'll sail through it.
There's a lot of big words.
A couple of rehearsals. I usually, read it about 6 or 7 times in a hotel room before I come to the ballpark. And I feel like I'm in a rhythm right away.
You don't even look at it when you read it. You've done it so many times.
I just feel bad for you. You've got to sit here and listen to it every time I read it.
Well, it looks like Arizona right now is looking at a tired Sterling Hitchcock.
Well, he's fallen behind 2-0 on the first hitter, Tony Womack. Craig Counsell and Junior Spivey also due up in the inning. Womack stroked the first base hit off Hitchcock, but that didn't occur until the 3rd inning. Foul tip to the catcher. 2-2. Womack's had a very up and down year, hitting into the 250s when the night started, but lately a 300 hitter the last 18 games. Well, he's getting on and stealing bases.
We're so proud of him in spring training. The patience, working the count, getting on base, the walks, and then he got away from it.
Poked the other way along the line, and it drops down, a fair ball, and it jumps up into the seats. And so Tony Womack will take second base on the ground rule double, and he's quickly into scoring position.
It's a good thing that ball did go into the stands, because Shane Spencer's an outstanding defensive outfielder out there in left field. He was heading over there. If that ball would have come off there cleanly, look at him. He was set to go. He's got a strong arm. That could have been a close play, but once the ball was touched by a fan, it was all over.
So as Rick pointed out, Hitchcock showing some signs of wearing down relatively early, although they'd frankly love to get 6 innings out of him.
And the big signs I see are just constantly falling behind. just trying to get hitters to chase pitches out of the zone before you get ahead in the count.
Counsell 0 for 2. Lays off the first pitch. It's a fascinating batting stroke that Craig Counsell takes up to the plate. Actually, before the stroke, just the stance itself. And you might have to go back to Carl Yastrzemski in his Red Sox days to find someone who held the bat as high as Craig Counsell does.
I wonder where this infield is positioned by manager Joe Torre.
Bunted and foul by Counsell.
You know what? He just gets it. He understands the game of baseball. He too saw where the infielders were positioned, and when you're that close at second base and first base, that play is designed to get the runner at third base. If they were back, Counsell would swing the bat. He just hit a ground ball that way. Maybe it gets through, maybe it doesn't. But nonetheless, you advance the runner to third with less than 2 outs. They're still in right now. Wouldn't surprise me if he tries to bunt again.
Womack at second, nobody out. I mean, talk about Counsell and how quickly he picks things up, how well he sees things. You and I both know him very well. He's a highly intelligent player. But is that something a third base coach can get to from the manager or someone in the dugout? Eddie Rodriguez, the third base coach, is he signaling Counsell there too to maybe drop one down? Is there something he can show him?
Well, it could be, but I think Counsell thinks just like Bob Brenly does. I think that's why Brenly loves him so much, and you know what? I really think that's probably one of the biggest attributes that Brenly possesses, is the way he can evaluate talent. He saw something in Danny Bautista last spring. He saw something in Junior Spivey this spring. He saw something in Craig Counsell that the Dodgers didn't see. They released him last spring training, and yet he's a valuable player for Bob Brenly. We knew he could play. We knew he could broadcast. Well, we know he can evaluate now as well.
Counsell recently, before the season, signing a multi-year, big money deal. Lines a base hit into right. Womack heading for third, and Eddie Rodriguez will put the brakes on him there. Nice chuck in from Timms, the right fielder. But a hit for Counsell. And they're on the corners with none out. Let's go to the studio and Pam Ward for an update.
Thank you, Dave. We'll take you to Boston. It's Brian Daubach already has singled in a run here in the fifth. Denny Nagel with a lot of trouble. Nomar Garcia par with a leadoff double. Then Daubach's ninth of the year, a 2-run shot to dead center. Sox up 5-1 in the fifth, guys.
They're not going to go away, are they?
Apparently not.
I love what they're doing with Pedro, keeping him under control. They've got a 3-game lead right now. That 1.5 doesn't matter. All that matters is what you see in that loss column.
Yankees a game and a half back altogether. They had a 2-0 lead in this game. Now it's tied, and Arizona is trying to retake a lead. And it's inside for ball one. Junior Spivey is lined to second and popped out to short. Well, that series between Arizona and Boston featured baseball's 2 winningest teams, and Arizona went into Fenway and swept them, putting pressure on Hitchcock in this inning. Spivey wouldn't chase. 2-0. The right-hander Ramiro Mendoza is now beginning to loosen up in the Yankee bullpen. They're all-purpose pitchers.
Can't get ready quick enough for Joe Torre.
So earlier this season, winning his 1,500th game as a manager. Trying to beat the world champs tonight. Skied around third base, foul ground, and Wilson creeps to the stands and lunges in. He goes into the crowd, but he can't make the catch. He gave some effort there. Jumping into that first row. The count is 2-1.
Gotta love the effort right here. You know what it reminds me of? Derek Jeter when he went into the stands for that pop-up against the Oakland A's. You know, I keep watching counts. I can't take my eyes off of. There's a pop-up, all right? You know what he's doing? Well, Tony Womack's tagging up. but Craig Counsell is as well. If he catches that ball, Counsell would have been standing on second base, taking the double play out of order.
Spivey waits on a 2-1. Wrapped toward third, but foul.
There's a couple of things you have to learn as a hitter at the big league level. You got to learn to hit first of all, and put the ball in play, make solid contact. Then you have to completely learn to hit all over again with runners in scoring position. Spivey had everything going for him there. Men on first and third, nobody out, a 2-0 count, and he is even this count up personally himself by chasing 2 pitches out of the zone.
Hitchcock with a high pitch count, 91 of them, and he does not have an out in this inning. Runners at first and third. Counsell takes off, and it's hit right behind Craig Counsell into right field for a hit. A run in, and Counsell is into third. So an RBI single for Spivey, his 41st run batted in. Boy, what a find in him Arizona has.
You know what else he might find is, instead of a 3-day vacation during the All-Star break, he might be accompanying his manager Bob Brenly to that All-Star game. Both of these managers with some difficult decisions to make. Joe Torre will choose the American League team. Bob Brenly, as we look at him, will get to make the National League decisions. And I wouldn't be surprised. You know what? I mean, people are going to say I'm crazy. You look at the numbers, 285, 1 homer. Brenly would love to take Counsell.
Will he be able to, though?
Sure he can.
Third base. Well, yeah, he can take anybody he wants. That's right. How much opposition he might run into, though. But Counsell has been defensively, I think, as good as any third baseman in the National League all year. He's at third base. Here's Luis Gonzalez. 3-2 Arizona. They've taken the lead. Gonzalez has stepped in twice, and each time he has been struck out by Hitchcock. This, by the way, the 4th year in which the 2 World Series teams have met in the subsequent regular season. Atlanta played a 3-game series here at Yankee Stadium in '97. The Yankees played 3 in Atlanta in 2000. And the Yankees played 6 games against the Mets last year. A pickoff throw. They get Spivey in a rundown. Counsell hung up between home and third. He is being chased down by Posada. Posada will try and tag him. Didn't get it. Throw to the plate. And Hitchcock gets it. But no tag made around third base. Spivey able to get into second. Joe Torre is coming out to argue. Counsell called out. Somehow Counsell got by the first pass on the first tag attempt.
Well, he's just going to argue that he thought Counsell was out of the baseline. Third base umpire Larry Poncino should have called him out immediately, which would have kept Junior Spivey at first base, where he was ran back to there. Had he called him out immediately, here comes the tag right here. I mean, Joe Torre has as good a look at that play as does Poncino from that first base side dugout. He thought he was out right. I tell you what, Hitchcock, look at him. He thought he missed him too there, or he wouldn't have come back to try to get him. Look, Counsell, you might think right now this is a mistake on his part. It's not. Spivey made the mistake by getting picked up. Counsell's trying to pick his teammate up there just by getting in a rundown, letting Spivey get all the way around to third.
Tony Randazzo calling out Counsell on a tag by the pitcher Sterling Hitchcock, but Hitchcock had his own doubts. Spivey does get down to second base. You're right, he was picked off dead to rights. Counsell was actually waving him into second base while he was being run down himself. Actually goes as a caught stealing. Spivey to second on a fielder's choice. So Counsell technically caught stealing, although that obviously was not his intent. Lap foul by Gonzalez. He's behind 1 and 2.
I knew the ruling on that. I don't know all the rulings, but I knew that one. One time Mitch Webster got caught in a rundown on that same kind of play, and I just bolted towards home. I was staying on third base. John Kruk threw it up into the stands, and I got credit for stealing home plate.
You got to steal at home?
I swear, I wouldn't lie to you. You can check it out.
I'm going to take your word for it. But
it wasn't. I mean, I didn't do it real fast. But
well, I figured that.
I did.
I know you want to blur down that line, but
well, Kruk thought I was, or he wouldn't have, made that quick throw like that. Actually, a neat moment. Not only stealing home, but a good buddy of mine, Mark Harmon, was in a movie at that time called Stealing Home with Jodie Foster, and I got a cool jacket out of it.
Base hit into right. Spivey into third base. Rodriguez waves him around. He's slowed down a little bit, but he's going to score the run.
He's hurt.
And yeah, it looks like he was a little bit lame. Yeah, he's grabbing the back of that leg around the hamstring, and that's the reason he was balky coming around third. An RBI single for Gonzalez.
Eddie Rodriguez, the third base coach, couldn't believe that he wasn't hustling, but the reason for it is because he wasn't 100%. He wanted to pull up right there. Look at the third base coach. You got to go. You got to go. Junior Spivey's saying, I can't go. That's all I've got. But it ended up being enough for another run for Arizona.
And that knocks Sterling Hitchcock out of the game. Torrey removes him. He gives up 4 hits in the 5th inning, and it's 4-2 Arizona. Stadium in lights, but the Diamondbacks have now taken a 4-2 lead over New York here in the 5th inning. Sterling Hitchcock cannot get through the 5th.
Same old story for him against the Arizona Diamondbacks. 0-8 could possibly fall to 0-9.
And responsible for the runner at first base, Luis Gonzalez. He just stroked an RBI single, and that brings on Ramiro Mendoza. He has really been the Yankees' Mr. Fix-It the last several years. The only major league pitcher to have recorded at least 1 win as both a starter and a reliever each of the last 5 years. Ground ball sharply. Soriano shovels to Jeter. 1 there and on to first for the double play. Well done by Mendoza. He faces 1 hitter. A 2-run score, and the Diamondbacks lead it.
ESPN's Monday Night Baseball is brought to you by Singular Wireless. Never pay long distance or roaming again. It's a Singular nation. And by new body heat activated degree gel. Kicks in the clutch.
From high above, these wonderful pictures are from the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes. And each year, the Goodyear Blimps visit over 100 communities and participate in dozens of telecasts at major sporting events. Bob Rosedale, the cameraman tonight, and Tracy Rockholt is the captain. Gentlemen, great work as always. Thanks so much. Last half of the 5th inning, and Randy Johnson goes back to work. He has struck out 6, but he's also allowed a 2-run homer. And a total of 4 hits. Jeter goes the other way, driven to right field. Guillen backing up to the wall, and it sneaks out. That is gone. A home run. Number 8 for Derek Jeter. Not far from the spot he knocked it out in the World Series against Arizona here at Yankee Stadium last fall.
That was a game winner. He doesn't hit many home runs. He hasn't in the past. But the thing you got to remember about Jeter, he's just now entering the prime of his career. Just 27 years of age. It seems like he must be 35 with all the success that he's had. But with Derek Jeter, it's a 180-game schedule. It's not like everybody else that plays 162. He's constantly playing into the postseason. You're just seeing one of the many reasons why right there.
76 playoff games, and he's 27 years old. Enrique Wilson has flied out and struck out, and Jeter, with his 8th home run, has put the Yankees just a run down. Ground ball the other way. Gobbled up by Durazo. He waves off the big unit. 1 down. So the Yankees with a pair of home runs to account for their 3 scores off of Johnson.
Right when he knows the crowd is getting out of this ball game. A 2-run lead, that's not that big of a deal unless Randy Johnson's on the mound. Then it's a huge deal. These fans well know that he was 3-0 in the World Series against these Yankees. Jeter, in one swing of the bat on the first pitch that he sees, brings him right back into this ball game.
2 home runs tonight for the Yankees, and they become the fastest Yankee team ever to hit 100 homers. faster than the 1961 Yankees. And they hit a ton of it.
That's amazing. I mean, to do anything quicker than all of the great Yankee teams that we've enjoyed over the years. Wow.
The other home run hit by Marcus Timms on his first major league swing, a 2-run homer in the 3rd inning. Here's a look at that 61 World Championship Yankee club. A strike on Bernie Williams, who has walked and singled.
Well, George Steinbrenner wasn't happy when that World Series ended, not because of the blown save in the last inning, but he knew this team was not as good as Oakland was. They should have lost that series. He knew that the Diamondbacks were a better club. They could have won all 7 games.
Top back to the big unit, and all 610 of him hauls it in. Number 2, let's go to the studio for an update, and here's Pam Ward.
All right, Dave, it had been 108 innings going all the way back to last year since Derek Lowe had given up a home run. He gave one up in the 5th to Bobby Estolea, and now one in the next inning in the 6th to Todd Zeile, but the Sox are still up 6-2.
You know, Yankee fans are keeping close watch on that score. They're a game and a half behind Boston in the division. We were talking about the Yankees being painfully aware that, at least many of them, that Oakland might have had a better club. And here's the big reason why Oakland might have had a better club a year ago, although the Yankees stormed from 2-0 down in the division series to shock Giambi, who was then in Oakland A, and win that series.
Well, how do you beat a team that has more talent than you? Take their best player away from them.
Yeah.
That's what the boss did.
Giambi 1 out of 2 with a single.
It really wasn't George Steinbrenner's doings to begin with, though. It was the front office of the Oakland A's. All they had to do was give him a no trade. When you play it out and you've got 6 years of big league service, you have the right to look elsewhere for employment. Those are the rules. Those aren't Jason Giambi's rules. Everybody plays under those rules at the big league level. Give him a no trade, you keep him.
On the inside corner, 1-2.
Command of that fastball improving a little bit here. Jason trying to keep that from being called a strike, throwing the body out of the way, but right there in the inside corner.
Johnson in search of his 7th strikeout, fought off by Giambi. This has not been a typical dominating performance by Randy Johnson this evening, not by any measure. He's gutting his way through it.
It's not his best stuff, and that's not the best swing that we've seen out of Jason Giambi. But when you're a left-handed hitter, a left-handed pitcher like Randy Johnson will change that swing. He'll slow it down because your first thought has to be where his release point's at. Okay, where is it? It's not at me. Now let me go try to hit it. Well, that's too late when a guy throws in the upper 90s.
Well, Jason Giambi detecting a slight crack in his bat. And when you're 6'3", 240 pounds, and as strong as Jason, the more subtle skills go unnoticed. But Jason's talents begin with his tremendous eyesight. He has 20/13 vision in his right eye. That's his lead eye as a lefty hitter. And that gives him the incredible ability to pick up the ball out of the pitcher's hand a lot sooner than an average type hitter. Takes one outside, and it's 2-2. His eyesight has been tested, and putting him in the top 1% of all major leaguers tested. He has extraordinary vision. Got hit by that pitch. And he'll take first base. One ran in right around the arms, and he is on base.
He doesn't care. You're not going to hurt that body. Look at it. Watch those eyes stay right on that pitch, and then he does it properly. Watch all you young hitters out there, take a look at where that ear flap is. It's there to protect you, and by turning away from the pitch, it can do exactly what it's designed to do.
Actually got him on the jersey. So Giambi is on in front of Posada, who has struck out and walked. It is 4-3 Arizona. Jeter with a home run here in the 5th. A solo shot to lead off the frame. Good power from Posada, of course. A strike out a lot, though, 58 times now, and that is second on the Yankees, only to Soriano. And a big unit is thinking strikeout here. The count 0-2.
What a player Jorge Posada has turned out to be. More RBIs last year than any other catcher in the big leagues. He's won more than Mike Piazza. RBI total has gone up the last 3 years.
Fastball got him looking. 98 miles an hour, just a blur to Van Posada. A man left, but a run in on the Jeter opposite field homer, and it's a one-run game in the Bronx. Arizona 4, the Yankees 3, and we're about to play the top half of the 6th inning at Yankee Stadium. But Tuesday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, it's More Sports. Comedian Jay Moore offers his unique and humorous insights on the world of sports. That's in front of a live studio audience. His guests this week will be Evander Holyfield and musician Tommy Lee in the studio. Talk boxing with Evander and Pamela with Tommy Lee. You can't beat that. Durazo looking at strike one from the right-hander Mendoza. And it'll be Guillen and Steve Finley in this inning. A one-run game. Arizona in front in hits 7-5. Swung on and missed. Mendoza came on in the 5th inning for Sterling Hitchcock, who had started to falter. Hitchcock did not get an out. And had to be removed in the 5th, and Mendoza came on. Got a big double play ball on a Greg Colbrin.
Easy to do when you've got a sinker like Rubio Durazo is trying to deal with right now. They love the flexibility that Mendoza gives them down there in their bullpen. He can start. He can be a long reliever, as he's asked to do here tonight. He could set up, and if need be, there's no question he could be a closer.
Durazo with a soft roller to Soriano. One up, one down in the 6th inning. Yankee Stadium with a giant crowd on hand.
Right fielder, Jose Keegan.
Over the weekend, the Yankees taking on Barry Bonds and the Giants. They took 2 out of 3. This is some week for the defending American League champions. 3 games with Bonds, 3 with their World Series opponent from last fall, and then 3 with the Mets coming up. That'll feature Roger Clemens at Shea Stadium. And of course, where the pitcher has to bat, same Roger Clemens who hinted he might drill Barry Bonds, and then on Sunday he did just that. Same Roger Clemens who drilled Mike Piazza 2 years ago and tossed a broken bat at Piazza during the World Series. Roger is taking a little extra hitting these days. The Mets have made their own comments about what they might do when Roger has to step into the batter's box. And payback to Roger Clemens, perhaps.
He had to step into the batter's box against Curt Schilling in Game 7 of the World Series, but you're not going to do any retaliating in that ball game.
And he and Schilling like each other.
Well, he had a lot to do with turning around Curt Schilling's career. Curt always had a lot of ability, but he found himself being traded constantly, and Roger just said, you know, your workout habits are terrible. They got better, and so did he.
2-2 hammered. Nice play by Wilson behind third. A lengthy throw. He skipped it, and it's hauled in by Boomer for the out. A fine effort by Wilson, who's handled that position marvelously tonight, going back and coming in. This was a hot shot.
Might be a wet gym, boys. Baseball tonight, take a peek. Look at him going down the line, taking what would have been an extra base hit away, as did Coomer at first base. Just a good play all the way around. You need that kind of defense, and you know what? The Yankees haven't gotten that this year. 12th in the National League as far as defense is concerned. That's not good. You don't expect it to remain that way.
Robin Ventura sitting this one out, at least for the moment. Here's Steve Finley. Finley had more than a casual interest in the running of Saturday's Belmont Stakes here in New York. Steve is a horseman himself. He's heavily invested in thoroughbreds these days, raising racehorses on his 10-acre farm in Santa Fe, California. He says when he's done playing ball, he'd love to see one of his horses win the Kentucky Derby. That's his goal. Swing and a miss. He strikes out. That pony never left the gate. And those are fans of it. It's a 1-2-3 for him. A one-run game in New York. New York, Arizona leading the New York Yankees 4-3. The Diamondbacks won the World Series against the Yankees 4-3. A couple of changes here for Arizona. Chris Donalds is now in at third base. That moves Craig Counsell over to second base. Junior Spivey is out of the game. You may recall a couple of innings ago, while scoring a run from second base, he came up lame. Well, he tried to gut it out and stay in there, but he was pulling at that hamstring. Might just be a cramp, but he has to come out.
And I'm thinking it was a cramp, because I saw him during the last inning continually try to stretch it out as if to, hopefully it'll get better. And if we're watching, Bob Brenly had everybody's eyes in that dugout on him.
Fouled off by Soriano. And Junior Spivey came into the ball game hitting .324, one of the most productive hitters in the National League. Now on the all-time strikeout list, Randy Johnson is one away from taking 7th place by himself. Needed 8 to pass Gaylord Perry coming into tonight.
Baseball might have a little bruise on it, though. It's probably going to be a breaking ball in the dirt.
But it'll be a keeper, and you guessed it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Soriano has been one of those strikeout victims tonight. Also grounded to third, 0 for 2. Native of San Pedro de Macorís in the Dominican Republic. Coming off a tremendous rookie year. He finished 3rd in the AL Rookie of the Year voting, behind Ichiro and CC Sabathia. But he is flat topping those numbers from last year here in his sophomore campaign. Randy Johnson moving up the strikeout list. Won't get it here, and it's 2-2.
It's time to keep that baseball clean, so that when he puts it up on the mound, he doesn't have to explain anything.
Grounded, and in comes Donalds, his first chance right away. He handles it cleanly. Now number 1.
Donalds is just another one of those pieces to the puzzle that the Diamondbacks continue to add, so that they're a better team down the stretch, and they have an opportunity to win games, particularly close games, when they get late. He's got some pop off that bench. Last year that bench was so important for Bob Brenly. They tied a major league record with 14 home runs last year off their bench. They got the ability to do that and more this year.
Man gone, and here's Coomer batting for the 3rd time. He has whiffed and popped out. And Sutton, you guessed it, Spivey did come out with a leg cramp. A little tightness in the hamstring, and he was removed as a precautionary measure. Popped up into right, long run Counsell. In comes Guillen, though. And there are 2 gone. Yankee Stadium in the Bronx, the site of the rematch of the 2001 World Series, which was a tremendous series. Arizona won it 4-3, and they are leading tonight 4-3 over the Yankees. Arizona has hit 2 home runs. I should say the Yankees have hit 2 home runs, and Arizona has out-hit the Yankees 7-5. Shane Spencer with a double. He's also flying to center.
Think about this ballpark during the postseason last year and how loud it got. Eric Jeter saying it was louder than you've ever heard it before. And Joe Torre, always a guy just magical with words, saying that, you know what, the people of New York, after what happened on September the 11th, just needed a place to go and yell. And that's exactly what they did.
Stung into right center field, a gap shot, but Finley will cut it off. That's the second time tonight that Spencer's hit it right on the screws.
And you know what? They've got some questions right now. Who's going to be their right fielder, their left fielder, where Spencer is tonight? Well, because of these 2 hits tonight, he's going to be part of this ball club, because they realize going into the postseason, this will probably be the team, as far as odds are concerned, they're going to have to beat. And to beat him, you got to beat the big unit. And this guy right there is having the best at bats thus far tonight, off Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson right at 100 pitches, and that's no headline for him to get up that high, but this early in the game it might be. He struck out 7, walked 2. He's now surrendered a total of 6 hits.
The headline is the extra base hits that he's allowed. The double to Spencer earlier, the home run to Timms, the home run to Jeter. That's a surprising part. Singles haven't hurt him. Those other guys that have touched home.
This guy touched home with 1 swing of the bat. The runner takes off. The throw by Miller in time to get him. He cuts down Shane Spencer. Put it right on the bag. And Timms is left standing in the box. Still 4-3 Arizona. He's by a run, and there's a great view of Monument Park in Yankee Stadium. Might be on the left center field fence. Stung into left field, a wicked liner by Damian Miller. That's how he greets Ramiro Mendoza in the 7th inning. A base hit. Rick, as a player, you coming into Yankee Stadium, you spent some time out there?
Oh, I bought the cheap camera and took the pictures and still got them at home. Absolutely.
You know, Barry Bonds, when the Giants were here over the weekend, spent quite a lot of time out there looking at the monuments and reading the plaques. There's Joe DiMaggio.
It just seems like, you know, we're on a first name basis with the Yankees. You know, Derek and Mickey and Babe. You know, there was Tina, Yogi. That's all you got to say.
Whitey.
Oh.
Jolton Joe fouled away by Womack trying to bunt. He singled and doubled in the game.
Pretty ironic, all of those numbers retired out there, and then the first 10, there's only 2 numbers missing. Number 2 and number 6. Well, number 2 is Derek Jeter. And number 6 is Joe Torre. They're going to start having like guys with number 117. You know, it's because they're out of it.
Hey, save some space on the wall for 2 and 6. Bunted again. Good bunt by Womack. Going to be a tough play for Posada, and he gets him. And the second base Miller. Womack was thinking about a hit there, but he bunts him over into scoring position. Let's go to the studio. Pam Ward is standing by. Pam.
All right, Dave. Luis Castillo having a very quiet but spectacular year for Florida, coming into this game hitting .328, and that single off Jeff Suppan extends his hitting streak to 26 games. Best in the majors so far this year, and now just 30 away from Jolton Joe.
Just 30. That's all. That's right. Thank you, Pam.
Yeah, but they start getting really tough, those last 30.
Yeah, that's what DiMaggio said too. He said those last 30, they're a killer. Counts a 1 for 3, a single in the 5th inning, has a man at second base now. It takes ball 1.
You know, that's what Jason Giambi was telling me before the game that was so tough about becoming a Yankee. He's not a good guy at saying no. And all of the requests for his time, for interviews and photos and autographs, he was just worn out by the time he got to the ballpark.
It's interesting. You said the days of being able to walk down the street and go unnoticed, those are over for him. Joe DiMaggio there in the 1941 World Champions. And his number, 56 consecutive games he hit in. The other way goes Counsell. Wilson will snare it. The runner holding at second. 2 away. So now Donalds will bat for the first time, coming on to relieve the cramped up Junior Spivey. 4-3 Arizona. We're in the 7th inning.
Just looking at some of the other numbers Junior Spivey has put up this year, one that jumps out at me is that he's been hit by a pitch 9 times. Second in the National League to only Craig Biggio. Well, as I said earlier, you don't hit people that you know you can get out. The National League is just trying to test this kid, and it's not working.
Donald's hitting .238 with a home run. That brings up the point, and I'm certainly not, you know, campaigning to see someone like Sean Green get hit by pitch night after night. But after he hit all those home runs, I mean 9 or 10 home runs in a week, you would have expected someone to at least, you know, knock him down, knock that bat out of his hands, and try to put some fear into him. Rolled along the first base line, picked up in foul territory. So Donalds will come all the way back to home plate, and that is the call of Tony Randazzo, the home plate umpire, until that ball reaches first. He made the call, the count 0-2.
Well, he made the effort to get out there. Look at him hustling right off the bat. Check him out. He got to go over the bat. Look at that. Now he's in a perfect position to see that ball just cross over the foul line and make the correct call. That's the biggest thing that managers come out and argue about. A lot of times why they get thrown out, because even though it's a bad call that was made, the umpire wasn't in the proper position to make that call. That's what they get mad about.
Miller at second, 2 out, and the 0-2. Sterling Hitchcock started for the Yankees, but could only get 1 out in the 5th inning. Then was removed for Mendoza, the Yankees all-purpose man. He worked the 1-2-3-6. Softly, there's Coomer to Mendoza. Pitches around, a single he allows here in the 7th inning. The Yankees are coming to bat as you get a great look at downtown New York at the Empire State Building.
ESPN's Monday Night Baseball is brought to you by your neighborhood 7-Eleven store. Oh, thank heaven for 7-Eleven.
A perfect night for baseball in New York City, and the Diamondbacks hold a slim 1-run lead over the Yankees. Getting set for the bottom half of the 7th inning. The fans standing for God Bless America just moments ago. Rick Sutcliffe and Dave O'Brien, and Randy Johnson on the mound tonight, trying to go to 10-1, and has a 1-run lead. He'll face 9-1-2 coming up, and if there are a bunch of hits, Jason Giambi might come up, and he'll probably come up with the sound of cheers in his ears. That was not the case in the first month of the season when he really scuffled with the bat. He said, hey, he deserved it.
I didn't take it personal, because trust me, I was booing myself inside. You know, like I said, I got more standing O's ever in my career. You know, I had 7 years with the A's, and I got so many standing O's every time I did something. I said I got booed more than I ever got in my career too. So I don't know if it was that good a trade-off at the beginning, but at the same time, you know, Derek Jeter would come up and say, they just boo because I want to cheer. You know, and I try to turn it into a positive instead of a negative.
And you know, he also talked about how Roger Clemens helped with that adjustment. When the Rocket came over here, things didn't go as projected. He wasn't the Cy Young Award pitcher they had seen in the past and they hoped for. And it took Jason a month to get it turned around. It took Roger over a year before he got back to his norm. And I think, you know, you shorten that learning curve when you have people like the Rocket and Jeter that help you do it.
And in the case of playing in New York, of course, you've got to show the Yankee fans you're for real. They don't care about resumes, salaries, big contracts, reputations. He went out and hit .360 in the month of May with a bunch of home runs, drove in a ton of runs, and he got them back on his side.
Tell me a Yankee that doesn't have a big contract. The boss takes care of all of them if they perform.
Well, this kid continues to perform the way he has. Another big contract is forthcoming for a Yankee. Marcus Thames with a home run off Randy Johnson in his major league debut tonight. The first swing that he ever uncorked in a big league uniform, and he hit it over the left field fence. Swing at a high fly to dead center, but this will not carry. And Thames is retired. One away. A little grip comparison here.
Derek Jeter.
Looks like Mike Mussina showing off one of his pitches.
And young Ted Lilly, give him credit for taking time to try to learn that. I've seen a lot of starting pitchers over the years that always had a baseball in their hand. They're always trying to get more comfortable with something off speed. And that's the whole key, is to keep your delivery just like that of your fastball and let the grip create that movement. That's that one-finger breaking ball Mike Mussina is showing the youngster. And when he throws on the side the next time, that's where he'll take that pitch to see if it works. If he's comfortable with it there, then and only then do you take it to the ballgame.
Mussina will roll out that one-finger breaking ball on Wednesday afternoon here against Arizona on ESPN. Jeter has gone 1 for 3 with a home run. There's a solo drive in the 5th inning.
Normally a real controlled swing. Good balance when he finishes. He might come out of his shoes right here trying to hit another home run and tie this ball game up.
A strike, 2-1.
And you're not going to make the same mistake mentally, which is to throw something for a strike on the outer half. Tried to pound that in there. Here comes a breaking ball.
It's shot. A nice dig by Donalds. Low throw, but scooped up by Durazo. And there are 2 gone. Back to the studio again. Let's check in with Pam Ward.
Alrighty, Dave, a couple of teams struggling this season, the Astros and the Cubs. Astros up 3-0, but Corey Patterson gets them closer with 1 swing, 2-run shot. Now 3-2 Astros. Sammy, by the way, 1 for 2 with a double.
So 2 down, and Enrique Wilson to dig in against Randy Johnson. With the Diamondbacks ahead 4-3. Prince and Swindell now loosening in that bullpen. And you know, young Kim, if the game stays like this, 4-3, will be called on to work tonight. She had the nightmare of a World Series last year right here at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, do you think he really wants to pitch here again?
He says he does. He says he was over it the next day, and he is really looking forward to pitching here again. We'll see. We'll see if it's just brave talk. And certainly his performances, here's Kim, his performances this year as the closer have been outstanding.
But I don't know if a player can experience a worse feeling than what that young man went through during the World Series on the field.
Coughing up back-to-back games on home runs and almost costing a chance at a World Series. Of course, Arizona would come back and win the title at home against Mariano Rivera, the Yankees' great closer, who went on the disabled list today with a groin injury. So they are without him for some time to come. Fouled away. Now 1-2 on Wilson. Tony Williams on deck.
We continue to see Randy Johnson fight himself mechanically. Just not happy. That front shoulder is flying open. That's probably the biggest reason all that activity is going on in the Diamondback bullpen. When you get out of sync mechanically, that's when your arm's normally a lot sore the next day. You put more pressure on it back there. It's not in that slot where it's been for years and years and years, and there's tenderness there, and there's a chance that, you know, a greater chance for injury. Bob Brenly doesn't want to take that chance.
2-2 pitch popped up and off into the crowd, and Randy Johnson is just 1 strike away from taking 7th place on the all-time strikeout list for himself. At the moment, he's tied with Gaylord Perry, trying to strike out somebody for the 3,535th time. Starting on Wilson, looking once in this one. 7 Ks for the big unit. And the 2-2 home. Full count. He's walked 2. He's hit a batter. And he has scattered 6 hits, but 2 of them have been homers. Timms and Jeter have gone yard against him. Line into left field, racing back Gonzalez, and now he pulls up for the catch. A breezy 7th inning for Randy Johnson. No strikeouts, but he gets them in order, and the Diamondbacks are up by 1. Or Yankees 3. Well, there's David Wells, who's going to pitch Sunday night against the Mets on Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN, and He was almost wearing the other guy's cap in this ball game. He came very close to becoming a Diamondback.
Yes, he had a handshake agreement with their managing general partner, Jerry Colangelo. We'll get a look at Jerry now. But you know, in David Wells' heart, he wants to finish his career as a Yankee. That's where America really started to get to know David. And at 38, 39 years of age, there's not that many good years left, and he just wanted to do it here.
These were his happiest years as a member of the New York Yankees. And for a perfect game here, once wore Babe Ruth's cap in a game. Actually pitched very well while wearing the cap, and then when they made him take it off, he got shelled. There's Luis Gonzalez swinging right through it. The new pitcher is the left-hander, Mike Stanton. Comes on in relief of Mendoza, who again does fine work for Joe Torre.
How many years now has it been since we've stopped seeing numbers like that out of Mike Stanton?
Facing Gonzalez, Colburn, and Durazo, the scheduled hitters. Gonzalez has struck out twice. He's also driven in a run with an RBI single.
Every postseason since 1991 for Mike Stanton. The only other guy that can say that, the left-handed pitcher for the Atlanta Braves, Tom Glavine. And he's always been a streaky type guy. He'll hit a tough spot at some point during the course of the year, but he's had some wonderful streaks during the month of September and October, even last year, November.
1 ball and 2 strikes. That's right. He was on that staff with Glavine and John Smoltz right at the beginning of the 90s that turned Atlanta around from a last place team to a perennial champion, a division champion. And now for years with the Yankees, an integral part of their bullpen. 1-2 pitch, and Gonzalez wouldn't bite. 2-2.
I think it might be easy to be a left-handed setup man. There's a career postseason numbers. Wow. But it's not that easy doing the job that Mike Stanton's called upon to do. Mike Myers does the same job for the Arizona Diamondbacks now. You're called to come in and get left-handed hitters out, but you don't face just normal left-handed hitters. You face Luis Gonzalez. You face guys like Jason Giambi, Barry Bonds.
He kicked the 2-2. A lunging foul as Gonzalez was protecting with 2 strikes. And Myers, the side armor, now loosening in the Arizona bullpen.
And there's one reason. Jason Giambi.
Betcha.
A couple of pinch hitters around Jason due up in the bottom of the 8th inning. Bernie Williams and Jorge Posada.
With the pitch, a breaking ball, top foul. Might get a pretty good curveball. 45,698 taking in tonight's game at Yankee Stadium. What a splendid evening. Kind of breezy, very mild. Temperatures in the 70s. Just gorgeous. And they've seen a pretty good ball game. 8 hits for the Diamondbacks, 6 for New York. And it's still up for grabs. Down into the dirt. That'll fill up the count.
You know how you hit 300? You learn to lay off difficult breaking balls as that one was. How about Posada too, and the improvements that he's made defensively, keeping that ball in front of him. Just 10 years ago, he was a converted infielder trying to learn how to catch.
He sets up away, and it runs up and in instead. Stanton badly missed the spot, and so Gonzalez takes ball 4. That'll bring up Greg Colburn. Some beautiful shots from high overhead tonight. Those are courtesy of the Goodyear Blimp Stars and Stripes, based in Pompano Beach. Goodyear would like to remind you to take all of life's journeys on the wings of Goodyear.
Really rubbing it in that you've been up there and I haven't.
It's high up there. It's just beautiful.
You just got higher friends than I've got friends in low places.
Well, thank you, Garth Brooks. I didn't realize you had stepped into the booth.
He was my roommate in spring training. You know that. Padres.
I heard about that. I heard some stories. And Garth's been writing albums about that stay ever since.
Hey, mum's the word.
He's a good dude.
He's wonderful, and the whole cause for him going to spring training and being involved in that was charity, and the millions of dollars that he's raised, you know, for kids and organizations that normally wouldn't have had that kind of money.
He's got friends in low places.
It took a while to teach him to hit, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're still teaching him to hit, aren't you?
Yeah, 10 days. I mean, I'm throwing BP every day to him, and finally he catches up with one and hits it out. And then he just, you know, the crowd goes crazy.
Sure.
Oh, he jogs and, you know, well.
Made a big show of it.
Yeah.
He paused at the plate, you know.
Guess what happened on the next pitch?
Yeah.
Right in the rear end.
Well, good. It's good to know that even superstars.
Welcome to the big leagues,
yeah.
Gar. Write a song about that one.
Coburn is 0 for 2. He's also walked and crossed the plate. He's down in the count. Gonzalez with a short lead at first base.
It was so funny. The following year, Garth went to spring training with the New York Mets.
I remember.
Had a lot of fun. And at the big banquet right before opening day, the Mets were playing the Padres. Bobby Valentine says, you know, my only regret is that I can't let Garth play left field today. And Bruce Bochy, the manager of the Padres, said, oh, yeah, he can. I'll okay that one.
I'll sign off on that one. Hit hard and by the diving Wilson into left field. Gonzalez rumbles into second. So trouble here for the left-hander Stanton. He's walked a man, allowed a single to another. And Arubio Durazo, who's a crusher, coming up.
Well, Coburn's normally a big part of that bench we talked about earlier. This is the reason the Diamondbacks have the ability to come back late in ball games and win them. They've got some pop down there. They've not even used it all yet tonight. We've seen Donalds come in. We know what he can do. McCracken's there. David DeLucci is there. It's a lot of weapons late in the ball game for Bob Brenly.
Now Stanton walked one left-hand hitter. Coburn, the righty swinger, hit that stiff into left. Now Stanton needs some help. Facing another left-hand hitter, but with excellent power. Durazo 1 for 3 in the game, and he takes ball 1. Pretty good block by Posada. There has to be a little extra pressure on a catcher catching in this town.
How about a one-run ball game? First and second, nobody out. That's big. Second and third, nobody out. Well, somebody's going to score. The percentages tell you that. Posada not letting that happen on that particular pitch.
Pretty good catchers to put on the gear in this city. Yogi Berra, Thurman Munson among them. But Dickey as well. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Grounded toward the middle. Soriano suffocates it, but can't free it. It rolls behind him and everyone's safe. The bases are loaded with nobody out. It'll be a base hit, but they're filled up.
Well, most guys can't even get to that ball. He does, all right? That's the physical part of it. But the mental part of it that the youngster is learning, it's a day-to-day type process, is that you're not going to get 2 on that ball. Even though Durazo is slow, it's taken 2 time for you to get there and secure it. Had he just slowed things down a little bit, he could have come out of that glove with the ball cleanly and gotten the force play at second base. He tried to hurry it, getting the double play, and that was probably a mental mistake that you know, as far as Joe Torre is concerned, he won't make again.
So here's Jose Guillen. He can really spoil some good work by the Yankee bullpen the last 2 innings, in which the pen has shut out Arizona, but now they're loaded up. Gonzalez at third, Coburn at second, Durazo at first. This is all trouble of Stanton's making.
Well, if he's going to get out of it, he's going to have to do it with that fastball, and he just started this at bat off with a good one. They're not chasing that big curveball because he's not established the heater yet.
0-2 on the free swinging Guillen. He's batting just .234 at the moment.
And when you see a guy late on a fastball in the inner half, as Guillen was in that last one, you want to try to climb the ladder with him. Take that fastball on up a little bit higher, maybe a little bit more on it if you can. See if he'll continue to help you. You know, this crowd, as always, here at Yankee Stadium is going to help.
Oh, what a swing by Jose Guillen on a pitch that was up. And he took a hack at it. It was in the happy zone.
Well, it was right at his shoulders. Had it been at his eye level, you could have gotten it by him. Now that he starts to cheat on that fastball to catch up, you see where the contact was made, almost in the middle of the plate. Now give him that same delivery with something off speed. See if he doesn't chase it and expand the zone to help you.
The Diamondback at every base, nobody out. A 1-run game in the 8th. He went away, and it's 1-2.
Just never made that pitch desirable enough for Guillen to help him. It never started in the zone. The moment it came out of Stanton's hand, the ball was low. Just got to have faith in your catcher here. He'd like to bounce that breaking ball. He's kept a couple of them in front of him thus far in this inning. Might have to do it again.
Popped along the right side, but that'll drift into the stands. So again, hanging tough, examining that bat. Apparently no cracks in it. The Yankees thinking home to first. One ball, 2 strikes. And again fouled away.
That big slow breaking ball. He set this at bat up with the fastball to where he could succeed with that. He didn't on any of the others. The walk to Gonzalez was on a slow breaking ball. Falling behind in the count.
Gonzalez, Colbrin, and Durazo establish their leads. And the 1-2. Popped up. Is there play for Posada? Heading back to the screen. He has room. A giant out for Stanton. Now a double play ball can get him out of it.
Just never felt comfortable with that breaking ball there. Continued to pound the fastball in, climbing the ladder. That's one thing about Yankee Stadium. Not a whole lot of foul territory down the lines, but you do have some room behind home plate. Posada able to come back and get the first out.
One away, Finley to dig in. Tonight he's popped up. He's also struck out. But in between, he's cracked a 2-run double. That was off of his friendly foe, Sterling Hitchcock. But Mike Stanton is not his good buddy. Strike 1 on Finley. Steve with 11 home runs. He's had an excellent month of June so far, although it's still early.
I'll tell you what, he's had an excellent career.
He really has.
All of the Gold Gloves, one of those guys that constantly touches home plate 100 times, drives in big runs.
And where he goes, winning seems to follow. Here's San Diego or here in Arizona. One out, bases loaded. Stanton looking for a double play ball, and it's ricocheted foul. His 5 double plays induced leads the Yankee relief corps. Here's Finley in a big hole here. A soft one, and Finley just got a piece of it off the very top of that bat. He is barely alive.
That's the one I was looking for in the at-bat with Jose Guillen. Really a slow breaking ball. Stanton, and I don't blame him, a little bit scared to put that ball in the dirt, have it get away, and you give them a run. If that ball bounces, you get the strikeout easily. But then your catcher's got to do his thing, and that's just a lot of pressure in this spot.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. An off-speed pitch, and Finley whips. 2 down.
Really a good changeup, and he sells it with his delivery. Watch just his delivery right there. You think fastball the whole way. The only thing he did was eliminate his lower half. That's what got Steve Finley out in front. That's what got that changeup by him, and the big second out that this crowd wanted.
Well, this is all Mike Stanton. Nobody warming in the Yankee bullpen. He got himself into the jam by walking Gonzalez and then allowing consecutive singles to Coburn and Durazo. He got Guillen to pop out to the catcher. He just struck out Finley, and now it's another right-hand hitter, Damian Miller. Breaking ball for a strike. Here's that curveball you were looking for. And he's starting to establish it again.
It's all starting to come together for him. It wasn't there when this inning began. This guy has been in a lot bigger situations than this one is here. This is June. He's been doing this last year, even in the first week of November.
Miller 1 for 2 and a single and a walk tonight. Against left-handers, he has been trouble. 7 home runs against right-handers. He's not thinking home run here. Bases jammed for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and Miller playing a waiting game here with Stanton.
You look at those good numbers against left-handed pitching, you know that Phil Torrey would like to have countered, but without Mariano Rivera, you can't do that. You're just thin down there. You've already gone with Mendoza. You've got Carsey left to pitch in these spots. So you just have to sit back and watch and hope that Miller does not continue to succeed against left-handers.
Stanton 1 strike away from getting out of this big jam. He does! He struck him out. Side retired. Arizona loaded the bases with nobody out, and Stanton wriggles off the hook. A big-time Houdini job by Mike Stanton. He strikes out Finley and Miller, and they leave him loaded. It's getting late in the Bronx. The Diamondbacks with a 4-3 lead over the New York Yankees. We go to the bottom half of the 8th inning. Randy Johnson back out there on the mound. He's allowed 6 hits, 3 runs, and has struck out 7. It's Williams, Giambi, and Posada. So a lot of New York thunder against the big unit. A meek wave and a miss by Williams, who has hit 216 home runs as a New York Yankee. 10 this season. And twice the home run ball has bitten Randy Johnson. He's up to 115 pitches. A strike, 0-2.
You say, what's he doing out there with that many pitches? I'll tell you why he's there. Bob Brenly went up to him in between innings and said, big guy, do you want it or not? And you see the answer.
Down and in with the fastball.
That was so impressive last year. Not only Kurt Schilling, but Randy Johnson as well. Pitching on short rest. He just started game 6. And the day after that, agreed to go to the bullpen.
Swing and a miss. Williams is struck out. So there's the 8th tonight for the big unit. And he is 7th all time on the strikeout list. Well, the ESPY Awards are coming up 1 month from tonight from Hollywood, California. One of the categories, Best Major League Baseball Player. Randy Johnson, 21-6 last year, figures prominently in that. He is one of the nominees. In fact, 4 of the players nominated for that award are in the ballpark tonight. Johnson, Schilling, Roger Clemens, and Luis Gonzalez. And again, Wednesday, July 10th from Hollywood on ESPN, 9 Eastern, 6 Pacific, the 10th annual ESPY Awards. Giambi against Randy Johnson, and it's strike 1 on the left-hand hitting designated hitter. A 1-run game. 1-1. Posada on deck. Down by the shoes, and it's 2-1.
One of the strikeouts Randy Johnson got in his career didn't count on that all-time total because it was the last out he recorded last year in Game 7 of the World Series.
Just low, 3-1.
But I tell you what, I think that strikeout had as much to do with getting the crowd back in the game, even with Mariano Rivera on the mound. That Arizona Diamondback crowd thought they were going to win that ball game. He retired all 4 guys he faced, but by striking out that last guy, he really sent them through the roof.
3-1 pitch, check swing, and that's a strike.
Oh, we're a little confused right now. The one before might have been. This is a ball. Look at where the glove is. You see Miller doing everything he can. See how he tries to catch it on. That would have hit a right-handed hitter. I mean, little things like that make headlines the next day.
3-2 pitch. He walks him.
If that would have been strike 3 or he'd have made an out, he'd have had reporters all over his locker. How can you make an out? That's what we brought you over here for, to get a hit off the big unit. Well, he did what he was supposed to do, but it took 5 balls that time to get the job done.
Giambi on base for the 3rd time. A single was hit by pitch, and now he takes the walk in front of Posada, so the Yankees have the tying run on. Myers and Prince throwing again, and here comes Bob Brenly. And at first base, Posada, the hitter. And we'll see what they're going to do here.
I think Brenly wants to make the move. I think he's just trying to get the okay from Randy.
He's going to leave him in.
He didn't get the okay.
Baseball tonight coming up right after this tussle between the Yankees and the Diamondbacks. Carl Ravitch, Harold Reynolds, and Buck Showalter in the studio. They'll have analysis and reaction from our ball game. Harold on why Arizona won't repeat as world champ and what's wrong with Bo Vaughn. That's coming up next on Baseball Tonight.
Think Marcus Thames will get a mention?
Yes, I think he'll be prominent on Baseball Tonight. Vanderwall will run now for Giambi. That, after all, is the tying run for New York. Randy Johnson staying on to pitch to Posada.
That's really the biggest difference between Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. They're both going to strike out a lot of people. They're going to win a lot of games. But with Curt Schilling, he fields his position well. He holds runners well. You can't run on him. There's just no flaws. This is the only flaw Randy Johnson has. You can divide his attention just by putting some speed down there at first base. You can also get a pretty good read because it's not a great move. He'll pick off a guy from time to time, but when you're bearing down on it, you get a look at a couple of throws to first base. Normally you can pick something up on his first movement to take off on.
The big unit up to 125 pitches. And he's missed again to go 2-0. Will this be his last hitter? Soriano on deck. Brenly talked out of removing Randy Johnson moments ago. But if he goes out again, he has to take him out. Posada lets it go, and it's 3-0. Rick, is he tiring?
Well, the velocity's down a little bit, but it still says 95. I don't care who you go get in that bullpen. They're not going to touch those numbers. He wants it. And you know what? With what he did last year, he deserves it.
9-1 this year. Ground ball, sharply hit, it skips off Donalds and down into the corner. Vanderwall rounding third base, and now they'll put on the brakes. Into second, scampering Quasana. Swinging on 3-0. And he hit a hot chopper just inside the bag. Donalds had to eat him alive.
Well, that's where it helps having a manager that was a former player, and a good one at that. Joe Torre was an MVP in his day. He knows how much fun it is to know what pitch is coming. Well, Posada knew it was a fastball. He cheated on it. He got to it. He hit it hard. But I think about the difference in this game right now being Junior Spivey and that cramp. If he don't come out of the ball game, Council's still at third. We talked about how well defensively he has played. That could have been a double play, inning over. It was not. It was a double.
It is a two-base hit. And the Yankees on a single here can overtake the Diamondbacks and grab the lead. Soriano takes ball one. The infield in for the Diamondbacks. Randy Johnson stays in the game as Brenly watches from the dugout.
He has to stay in the game now. That's the go-ahead run at second base. If somebody's going to lose this game, he deserves to figure that out. 125, 135, what's the difference?
Soriano 0 for 3. Rocketed, but he pulls it foul. Boy, he hit it hard.
Absolutely no fear in this young man. He might have found himself on the cover of ESPN the magazine had Mariano Rivera been able to close the door in that Game 7. Don't forget, he's the one that hit the homer in the top of the 8th inning to give him that 2-1 lead.
Pitches. His previous high 131, and he's about to equal that. That's for this season, the 1-1 pitch. Missing in tight. 2-1.
It's an out-of-body experience right now for Randy Johnson. He doesn't feel that fatigue. Your brain doesn't even work from the neck down. You don't think about how tired you are, sore. You got to want this out, and he does. Bob Brenly wants him to get it. Now, before his next start, you might need to give him an extra day or whatever, but we'll deal with that when the time comes.
2-1 pitch hit on the infield very softly, and Durazo will tag out Soriano. No advance by anybody. Vanderwall freezing there at third base.
That's a play. I don't know. I'll never be a big league manager, but I think I would always have to send the runners. What's the big difference in first and third or second and third when it could be the tying run? Put pressure on that infield. We've already seen one ground ball get away from Donalds. Durazo, we know he's not an above-average defensive player. Make him make that throw. If he's nailed it home, so be it. You still have first and third. But that was not the choice Joe Torre made. Bob Brenly's changing his mind.
Yeah, he's coming out, and that'll do it for Randy Johnson. He's going to lift him right here with 2 down and runners at second and third. And Ron Coomer about to stand in. So he has to get him now. A change, and we'll be back in a moment. Arizona clinging to a 1-run lead, but the Yankees have second and third, 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning. Randy Johnson finally removed by Bob Brenly, Rick.
Well, not only co-MVPs last year in the World Series, but real close friends. You see the first guy there on the top step to congratulate Randy Johnson on just an outstanding effort. That's the biggest thing there is about a starting pitcher. You don't control the outcome. There's too many variables involved. They got to hit the ball. They got to catch the ball. They got to score runs. All you control is your effort, and you don't see many better efforts than the one we saw tonight.
But he could lose it. He's responsible for those 2 men on. Here's Brett Prinz, the right-hander, who has just been awful lately. Now Robin Ventura is going to pinch hit here for Coomer, and they're going to put him on, and that one was almost thrown. Henry Miller on the intentional ball 1.
We got the shakes. We saw this a week or so ago with Roger Clemens, an intentional pass, and he airmailed the catcher.
Take a look at that first offering.
Yo, please come back.
Vanderwall at third base.
It's not over yet.
Vanderwall's eyes got the size of saucers when he saw that. Shaky indeed. He eventually does walk him. That'll load the bases.
And what gets even scarier, he had trouble just playing catch from 60 feet as that was. Now you got the bases loaded, the tying run at third, nowhere to put the runner. And in the 15 appearances the Prince has had this year, just 8 innings, he has walked 8 guys. We'll make that 9 now.
And just as bad in his last 8 big league appearances. Opponents are 11 for 18 off of Brett Prince. He's getting knocked around. Here's Shane Spencer. That is ball 1. Spencer has doubled, flying to center, and singled. So good night going in that batter's box. It's a 1-run game. Arizona in front for the moment. Ball 2. Ball 3. Strike 1. 3-1 on Shane Spencer. He'll take another, won't he?
No. Not if he won't have to take sign.
Swing and a miss. Should have. Would have been ball 4. Full count.
Question there.
Lynch comes in. The runner's on a move. This one's sucked to left field deep. Gonzalez back. Grand slam. Shane Spencer. Demanded one curtain call tonight. That was for Marcus Timms back in the 3rd inning. There's number 2.
In the first 2 months of this season, 46% of the runs scored by the Yankees scored because of the home run. Well, now tonight because of the homer, 6 out of 7 have touched home plate. Well, this is why he chased that what would have been ball 4. He wanted to chase ball 5.
Chased it right out of the park. The 4th grand slam in Spencer's career. There's the Yankee reaction. David Wells on the top step. After Shane Spencer's mentioned his 4th grand slam, the other 3 all came right after he was called up in September of 1998.
Well, if the Yankees and Arizona Diamondbacks meet in the World Series.
Line drive and caught by Womack.
Shane Spencer just put himself in the lineup if the big unit starts.
The Yankees busted open 7-4 New York as we go to the 9th. Shane Spencer has him dancing in the aisles at Yankee Stadium after his grand slam lifts the Yankees to a 7-4 lead.
Piniella was right. These fans come to the park prepared. That's preparation there.
That is Nick Johnson taking over at first base. So Torrey with a defensive change.
And Bob Brenly in the back of his mind with the change that he wished he would have never made.
And the question is, why lift Randy Johnson when you hung in with him to that point in the 8th inning, 2 down. 7-4 Yankees here. We want to welcome our Boston, Colorado audience to Yankee Stadium. The Yankees, with the home run ball, which has been such a potent weapon for them, have just taken the lead with a grand slam off the bat of Shane Spencer, coming with 2 down in the bottom of the 8th inning to put the Yankees in front.
We got good news for the Rocky fans. We got bad news for Boston.
Tony Womack 2 for 2 in this one. Takes outside for ball 1.
I mean, it's just a whisper. But what the Yankees and their fans are saying right now to Arizona is, you can't beat us here. We have the ability to come back and get you. The difference this year, 4 of the games during the World Series are played in the American League City.
And another big difference in this game, it was not Byung-Hyun Kim, but Brett Prince that they bit late in the game with the big home run.
Well, Kim has pitched a lot lately. Last year, Prince, before he got hurt, was a big part of that bullpen. He pitched outstanding. He has not this year.
And we talked about it, the fact that Prince has been really poor going back to April 24th. Opponents were hitting .611 against him coming into tonight. But that's the man that Brenly elected to bring in instead of finishing out with Randy Johnson, which I think both you and I assumed he would do. As Kim remains in the bullpen, he did not pitch in the inning. He has appeared in 5 consecutive games. Slicing away, Spencer on the move, lunging for it, but he can't quite get there. 3-2 the count.
That's such a good effort down that line. This is as difficult as a play can get. Look at the fans out there. Look at the wall coming up. You're going full speed. Anybody that's ever tried to make a play like that knows what I'm talking about. Could it have been made? Yeah. Could it have been career ending? Yeah, that too.
Well, it seems when Bob Brenly manages in Yankee Stadium, there are always second guessers afterwards. Here's the 3-2 pitch. Little bloop shot. Racing back Jeter. 1 down in the 9th. Top of the order now, Craig Counsell. If it finishes up 7-4, Randy Johnson will lose for just the 2nd time. In 2002, he'll drop to 9-2.
And those 2 starts are amazing losses that he's had this year. We did the first one in Pittsburgh.
That's right.
Arguably the #1 pitcher in baseball. He had the lowest ERA against the number 30 offense in all of baseball, and he loses 3-2. Tonight he's going against Sterling Hitchcock, who was 0-8 against Arizona.
But of course, facing the #1 home run hitting team in the big leagues, and the Yankees with 3 home runs in this game. Jeter with a solo shot, Timms with a 2-run homer, and Spencer with a grand slam with 2 on the 8th.
Well, this is why they were rebuilt over the winter, to have that pop all the way through the lineup. The RBIs tonight have all come from the 8, 9, and 1 spot.
1-0 pitch from Stanton, a strike. You saw Carsey along with Knight warming up in the bullpen. Carsey is, for the immediate future, the closer for the Yankees, who put Mariano Rivera on the disabled list today because of a groin injury. The 1-1 home right there, and it's a ball and 2 strikes on Counsell.
We can, and you know they will after the game, second guess Bob Brenly all you want. But this game always has been and always will be about players. Spencer came through, Prince did not. How about Jose Guillen? He was up with the bases loaded.
Strike 3, got him looking.
Nothing good happened for Guillen. Finley struck out. Damian Miller struck out, as does Counsell here in this at bat. When players perform, you look good. When they don't, you've got questions to answer. That's performance right there.
And things were shaky for Joe Torre and Mike Stanton in the 8th inning with the bases loaded, none out, and Stanton got out of that. Boy, what a night for Marcus Timms. His first night in the big leagues. He homered, so did Derek Jeter. And Spencer, the grand slam. It looks like it is iced it. In this rematch of the 2001 World Series, these two clubs are not finished playing terrific baseball games.
Everything that we expected, isn't it?
Donald's looking at a strike. 0 for 1 in this contest.
The Bronx Bombers not disappointing us with the home runs. Randy Johnson moving up another step on the ladder of history as far as strikeouts are concerned.
And moving to number 7 on the all-time list. Fouled out of play, 1 ball, 2 strikes. And so the Diamondbacks are down to their last strike. Yankees 7, Arizona 4. The Bronx Bombers with 3 home runs. They did 101. Far and away the leading home run hitting team in the majors. Stanton's 1-2 pitch, a breaking ball, and it's 2-2. Pitch, and it is ball 3. On deck, Luis Gonzalez. If Donaldson can find a way to reach, Gonzalez will swing in the 9th. Payoff pitch, socked deep to left field, twisting toward the corner. Spencer on the run. Jumps into the stands, but that one is gone. A home run. A solo drive by Donalds to the opposite field. And now it's a 2-run game. So the Diamondbacks are still kicking. A 2-out 9th inning drive by Donalds.
Just a little something to remind them who the world champions are. These fans are on their feet. They wanted a strikeout. When Stanton couldn't get it on the breaking ball, threw a fastball on the outer half, and well, they might not be disappointed in the strikeout, but they got a souvenir.
7-5.
Look at that, though. That tells you what a gamer he is. He's mad he didn't make that play on the ground ball that was hit. It went for a double off the bat of Jorge Posada. Could have been a double play, and Randy Johnson would have handed the lead over probably in the 9th inning. It didn't go that way. But that tells you what Donalds is made of.
2 strikes on Gonzalez. Well, now it comes down to Luis Gonzalez, just as the World Series did last November. His game-winning hit set Arizona fans to a state of delirium. Stan trying to strike him out here in New York, and he pokes a foul.
Regardless of who wins, it's been fun tonight taking a walk down memory lane.
Yeah, been a terrific night.
The great memories of that wonderful World Series.
And these two clubs will do it again for the next couple of days here in New York. At Yankee Stadium.
I've got to get in one of those drinks sometime.
I'll take you up anytime you want. The 0-2. Into the dirt with the curve. Gonzalez has an RBI hit tonight. He's also struck out twice and drawn a walk. In the 7th game of the World Series, Arizona rallied against Mariano Rivera to win the title. Then they rally against Mike Stanton in New York. They will not. Soriano hoovers it up, and that's the ball game. The Yankees pull out the win, 7-5 over Arizona. Shane Spencer with a grand slam in the 8th inning. Mike Stanton gets the win. Randy Johnson loses for just the 2nd time this year. And your final score from Yankee Stadium in New York is the Yankees 7, Arizona 5. Stay tuned for baseball tonight. Coming your way next. For Rick Sutcliffe and our entire ESPN crew, I'm Dave O'Brien. Hope you enjoyed tonight's contest from Yankee Stadium. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.